to other industries like smart city and insurance if necessary. So Amsterdam operation was launched, I believe, last Wednesday. Then about a week before that, we launched Madrid, also for smart city, supply chain, logistic, and maybe later on fintech and insurtech. And one of the places that we work with Generali and UniCredit is Milan. That office was launched, I would say, about 60 days ago. Quite frankly, I didn't make it. I tried to make it to every office opening, but sometimes they don't invite me. And sometimes it's just too far. I will finish with this thought. InsurTech is 3 years old. We really appreciate every one of you contributing to help us build this innovation platform. I think it had served a lot of the insurance companies, reinsurance companies well, but I would love to have a dialogue with each one of you after the summit. Whoever is interested personally with Ali, with Stephen, with Hutch, with the team, I want to see what we could do better. Let's say that if InsurTech, frankly speaking, is the fastest growing vertical we have, very close to that is our fintech and mobility. And now when we combine automotive industry, mobility, and InsurTech, we feel it's not 1 + 1 = 2. We feel 1 + 1 = 5. So I want to think out of the box that if, for example, you wanted to do auto insurance for autonomous car, how it would look like. We have lately had mining companies, quite frankly, the largest mining companies in the world come here, and we feel autonomous truck will happen. It's already happening in the mines and in the farms before roads. So if I have an ask is, I would love in the next day or two, if you pull me aside and say, Saeed, this insurance platform, if you wanted to make it better, this is what I would do. And we would like to gather your thoughts and share it with you, and then hopefully put it in an action plan. Thank you so much. Welcome. It's going to be a great couple of days together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saeed. And our next keynote speaker coming up, just to do some introductions, our global head of InsurTech. Please welcome Ali Safavi.
Hello. So yeah, in summary, we're launching a lot of offices. We're just like launching, so you guys are welcome. Any city you go, we probably have an office. So first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to our real estate team and our operations team and Saeed for making this space happen. Because from last time that you guys were here, moving that event space down here, we had like a bunch of rooms here, and all of it getting ready for this time was a very difficult task, but they made it happen. We also tried to step it up, and even like our Stuttgart program does an amazing job with the brochures and so on. So we asked them to ship a lot of brochures. 1,500 were ordered. Roughly 1,200 of it was sent back by the posting company. It didn't get to us. So apologies if we have a little bit of shortage on the brochure side. Not here to take too much of your time. Just wanted to give a quick update of what we see, some of the things we're excited about, and hopefully kick off the summit. So usually the clickers work. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. So after 3 years, we finally realized that the world needs protection, and protection requires insurance. What we're trying to say is, I think the industry has a bad reputation. That's a very, very basic way to put it. Is that when you talk to everyday people, they might not be sometimes the biggest fans of insurance. But when we look into the core, and I think all you guys are aware, so I'm just preaching to the choirs here, insurance was built by communities for communities. It's a very, very noble cause. At its core, it's very hard to be disrupted because it's a very basic concept of law of large numbers. It's the concept of people taking care of one another. So when we think about, and this is the moment that we're really trying to rethink about what would innovation in insurance look like. Are we doing what we said we're going to do? And we kind of realized that innovation in insurance has two main sides to it. And one side of it is just basically going back to the basics, which is we said we want to take care of people, and we said that that's what our focus is, and this is how insurance was started, by people for people. And it's just a moment to just do a self-reflection, is that, are we innovating towards that? Are we doing what we said we're going to do? And the other side of it is obviously catching up with the modern world. There's a lot of changes happening that we need to focus on. So as we're building out our innovation capabilities, or like what our thesis is in the space, a large question becomes, this concept of going back to the basics, is that innovation or disruption? Because one of the most challenging things that we had to face or deal with in everyday vocabulary is that what people define as disruption. Is disruption eliminate that, is that a new business model, or is it because they're just taking chunks of business away? It's a very relative term in that sense. And the reason we feel like it's the most exciting time now for insurtech or innovation in insurance is that, one, pace of change is accelerating. I think the fact that new types of risk are emerging, competitive landscape is changing, and all that just makes it the perfect timing for a lot of these insurtech movement. The second thing that I personally found super exciting by especially leveraging the offices that Plug and Play has is that when we look at what's relative to travelers, for example, right here, is it used to be maybe US, Silicon Valley was the hub of the most relevant technologies, but today you could find the most relevant things coming from Beijing or Singapore or Tokyo, or it could come from the mobility industry or the retail industry or the IoT industry. And I think the fact that everything is a lot more connected creates a lot of opportunities for growth, but at the same time a lot of threat. The fact that you don't know who's your latest competition, is it Tesla or Amazon, or is it a different insurance company, just makes everything a lot more exciting and threatening at the same time. And another thing that I find very interesting is the fact that across the value chain, people are a lot more collaborative. I think the fact that a lot of the commissioners were out here to discuss insurtech, that they're eager to learn, they're eager to find out what their role is. It's a trend that wasn't really there a year or two ago. I feel like the whole trend of acquiring customers, startups as an external innovation has picked up a lot outside of insurance. In insurance, we slowly see that picking up, but I feel like we're not there yet. We haven't seen that many major acquisitions, but obviously this is something that everyone's expecting this year and next year. That significantly should increase because it's just the fastest way to create new capabilities inside of a company that has a legacy infrastructure. And obviously, as you guys all know, insurtech is a thing. I feel like insurtech is as broad as it ever gets. It's a lot more broader than it was. And as you guys know, a lot of people have realized it's a lot more enablement than disruption. But at the same time, Said always likes to say, I don't think the Uber or Airbnb of insurance has been born yet. But it will. And one last thing I just want to emphasize on is that I look at innovation as like economy. The more corporate spend, the more startups are going to come into the space. And the fact that there's a lot more budget coming from the incumbents should increase everything significantly. Because one of the things that everyone asks us, do you feel like this trend is going to slow down? I do not. Because the fact is that you could see the spend on the corporate side is increasing, the amount of investing on the corporate side is increasing, and that would attract entrepreneurs. So this trend is only going to go up, not down. And one thing that we emphasized on last time, and we're going to have a fireside chat, so I just wanted to emphasize on again, is that innovation is a journey. I know a lot of people think this is obvious, but it's not. The fact that a lot of people come out here for the first time, expect an ROI in the first 6 months, it just shows that, it's a little bit longer term game. And we're going to talk about it in our fireside chat, but it takes a while. And we think like 4 to 5 years is roughly when people get to a point that they could actually create value. But for example, if you're in the experimentation phase, it's okay to fail. Your goal needs to be like get your procurement process in place, get your strategy in place, your governance structure in place, and so on. But if you're in the experimentation phase, but you have objectives similar to people that are more advanced and so on, obviously there's going to be some failures, disappointments, and budget cuts, which we just hope to avoid that. And then one of the things that has happened in this space also is like figuring out what the innovation team's job is in a company in a way that they're basically routing the internal structure and internal strategy with the external world, which I think a lot of our partners have been starting to kind of develop what their strategy is there. And again, we're going to talk about it a little bit more. But there's been some major progress with our partners. And obviously, one of the other things that we would like to just emphasize on, because we've had issues with, but I think it's a lot better now, is the fact that a lot of people just started building an innovation strategy versus 2 years ago, which the idea was to first have a milestone or a technology that you want to work with. Example, everyone came out here 2 years ago looking for blockchain and cyber before knowing how they want to use blockchain or cyber. But now a lot of people started looking at the innovation strategy first, what problem you're trying to solve, and then focus on the BU engagement, the culture of the company, the infrastructure, and then do I need to work with the OEM, a different industry or regulations and external stakeholders. Obviously, for strategy, require a lot of exposure. For focus milestones, the right partnerships, that's where we could help a lot. Culture and education, and obviously involvement with other industries is a very major thing, a role that Plug and Play could help with as well. And then how we've evolved our model to better be able to fit into this new model. This is one of the things that we spend a lot of time on, is that we've spent more time clarifying what our exposure strategy is to help with the innovation strategy. How do we really help you identify the right companies across the globe and industries? Education and culture is one of the things that has been a very major focus for us over the last year. If you had asked us 3 years ago, we would have said we could, but this past year, we've done a lot more on-site events with some of our partners. We've done more workshops just because we realized we work with the innovation teams. They're excited. They want to do stuff, but the back end of the company is not prepared yet. And as long as they're not, we're not going to be able to create value. So we spend a lot of time defining how we could help there and enable you guys. And obviously, how do we do a better job, as Saeed said, bridging the gap between different industries. Speaking about trends, obviously the way that we have defined InsurTech from day one has been in the 3 categories of what's incremental innovation, disruptive, new business opportunities, new products, and then disruptive trends. The way that I define disruptive to a large extent is technologies that are outside of insurance but could disrupt risk or change risk dynamics, like I think autonomous cars, precision medicine, shared economy. Blockchain, I don't think is an application for insurance yet as much, but it could have a lot of effects in terms of creating new risks that didn't exist before, and digital everything. And then obviously, as you guys know, InsurTech is a lot more of a thing than it was, so exciting times. In terms of what do we see, based on analyzing the votes that we looked at across 90 plus partners and 600 plus companies, we did this for the past few batches to kind of share some of the major results. As you guys could see, everything's becoming more and more global, and part of it is the fact that we have expanded more, so we get a lot more cross collaboration between our offices to bring startups from China or Japan into US, or vice versa. Still, a large part of why the program has more seed stage companies is because the partners wanted something that newer rather than more established in the program. But obviously, across the ecosystem, we still have a very large percentage of growth companies just because there are more established partnerships. Underwriting still dominates. I think pricing is still probably the pricing and distribution are probably number 1 and 2 in terms of what partners are asking. So one thing I did different this time, I asked my team, in terms of when you guys listen to deal flows and just talking to partners, what are the things that you hear the most? I mean, we could look at the data, but let's just talk to the team and they talk to the partners. And we did like a voting across the team. And this is what they guessed the votes would show in terms of 1, distribution. Most partners obviously are very much focused on distribution, 2, underwriting, 3, claims. Infrastructure was basically all the way to the end. It didn't seem like a lot of people are too focused on infrastructure at this point. But then when we look at the votes, we saw underwriting is 1, distribution is 2, pretty close to what the team guessed, but it's a little bit different than last time. I think distribution became, again, more on top of minds compared to last batch, but again, underwriting was dominant in terms of pricing, analytics, and everything involved in that. And claims is still on the top part. Probably the biggest change was the fact that last batch, it was a lot more about automation pricing and automated underwriting. This batch was, again, analytics has come up in terms of different analytics tools people could use for doing the underwriting. Predictive analytics is picking up more and more. I think that's one of the basically most clear trends that we've seen. Machine vision hasn't been as exciting. I mean, again, that was a very big focus on roof analytics for IoT underwriting and property underwriting roughly 2 years ago. I think the market saturated a little bit. Now it's a lot more about predictive analytics, and you guys could see the interest has significantly gone up. I think one of the most important things that we saw dispatch versus last one, I think distribution versus engagement, that is a broader topic of disengagement versus engagement that I could talk about for a second. But distribution for sure trumps engagement, and we could show how engagement has slowly gone down. It was never like too big. Like this is engagement versus underwriting, that how underwriting is just picking up more. And in terms of engagement, most of it has been about retention more than anything else, about how we just make sure partners, like a lot of it is around how do we do a data analysis that if someone has a churn probability, we could do something about it. AI obviously is still very big, and again, the AI application, most of the AI applications I've seen in customer engagement is around churn analytics and upselling the customer. And I think this is one of the things that I've seen happening a lot, and I feel like the whole API economy is one of the biggest, most interesting discussions I've had, at least over the past year, that when I talk to a lot of people, you hear both sides of the coin. Some people are a big believer in the engagement model, which is I want to be in the customer's life more and more with my own brand. But a lot of people are also moving into the disengagement model, which is I'm just going to come in for a second that you're buying a car and then get out of your way and not bother you until you have a claim. Which both have, I don't think it's a 1 and 0 thing. I don't think it's black and white. I feel like for some products, maybe this one or that one works. It's mainly a matter of strategy, but I've seen the API economy pick up a lot. And I think the fact that a lot of people are asking less and less about engagement versus distribution and pricing could potentially be an indicator of that too. Especially a lot of startups like, I think ClearCover is a good example of that, have shown this could potentially be effective as well. And I've talked to a lot of smart people too that say like, hey, maybe as a banking front, you could just have insurance 1 second there and out until a claim happens, which is a model. And I could talk more about it offline about some of the findings we found, but I feel like that's probably one of the biggest trends I have personally seen. That being said, thank you so much for this presentation. For the next discussion, I'm going to invite my dear friend Trent Cookley to stage, Head of Open Innovation at Markel. Please welcome him on stage.
Thank you.
Hi, Trent.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm excellent.
Good. What do you think about my presentation? Was it too much, or?
I thought it was wonderful.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're just saying it because you're on stage.
It's true.
All right. So, okay, so I was... we do some of the stuff very last minute, as you guys could imagine. And you guys are very kind enough to tolerate, and friends like Trent. So last week, I realized we have to do the opening remark, and we have to have a fireside chat, because a lot of people liked when we had it last time. And I was thinking, who do I want to be on stage with that I could actually have a very interesting discussion about some of the topics that I found interesting or needed to be talked about?
And then they told you no?
No. No, I actually hit up Trent because of many reasons. I think Markel and Trent have a very few have a few key characteristics that is very hard to find in the space. One, they've been around in the insurtech scene, I think, for a while now. Two, they've actually done a lot of things, because I think you guys have created like this very nimble and agile way of actually doing stuff. And when you make investments, I think to a large extent it makes sense, because you're doing investments for strategic reasons. Another thing I like about Markel is a specialty insurer, so you have a lot of flexibility to try a lot of products. I think you guys have like 1,200 products. You guys are international. But one of the most interesting things that happened with Markel that resulted in me wanting to have this discussion is the fact that I think Nephila and State National were both very big names in the insurtech scene because they were involved. And then a year ago and 2 years ago, you guys bought both. So now across the value chains, you guys have kind of involved with the insurtech scene, from funding, capital, ILS, reinsurer, insurance, specialty, and so on. So for various reasons, I thought Trent would probably be person I want to be here on stage with. So thank you so much for making time. I know I talked a little bit about Markel. Do you want to introduce Markel in your own words?
Yeah, absolutely. Markel is a global property and casualty insurance company operating in just about every country in the world, focused on commercial specialty business typically, but we're also a diverse financial holding company. So we have a division called Markel Ventures, which is not a venture capital group, but it is a non-insurance venture group that buys wholly owned companies outside of the insurance space. This is similar to the Berkshire Hathaway model. We have a large reinsurance division, which we built from an acquisition a few years ago, and have a big international division operating out of London, and that we bought 10, 15 years ago and have grown that. So typically have grown through acquisition, but we have a lot of diversity in our product, and there's a lot of exciting things, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And yeah, if you want to talk about our two latest insurance acquisitions of State National and Nephila, one of the interesting things was both of those companies had a really specific niche. Obviously, we had a lot of cultural advantages between us and them that would make an integration of those acquisitions be really smooth and easy. One of the exciting things was literally immediately after we bought State National, my team went down to their office and we sat with them for 2 days and kind of went through where are we playing together, where do we have new opportunities, and we did the same thing with our Nephila counterparts up in Larkspur. We traveled out like almost immediately after the acquisition and tried to find spaces where we could play together and put our combinations together. And we learned a lot about where we had those opportunities. I mean, obviously we bought those companies for more than just that specific reason, but it was a big cherry on top to really leverage and grow. And Nephila is particularly interesting because they really started as a financial technology company, like really bringing technology from the financial space to leverage across their cat book, and since then have grown to really expanding across all of just technology in general, and kind of integrating in that. So there have been a lot of really good synergies that we've been able to take advantage of with both those groups.
So the reason I said that's an interesting acquisition for people outside of US or even in US that weren't as involved with the insurtech scene is that if you go 3 years back and you look at all the MGAs that started, there's a good chance 80% of the P&C insurers, insurtechs, their fronting and license is State National. That's how I learned about them, because every startup I would hit up is like, hey, who's your fronting company? And they're like, State National. So they were involved with almost everyone. And then if you go, again, 3 years back and you ask like Metromile or some of the other companies, you realize most of them had some engagement with Nephila. So in terms of their capital and so on. So when it comes like understanding into the insurtech space, MGAs, what's working and what doesn't work, that's why I found it very interesting that then obviously Markel bought both of them as a company that was engaged, that I at least found it like a very interesting way to close the loop. So tell me more about the innovation function. How are you guys set up and what's your mandate? Because I think that's one of the biggest questions we see and is all over the place. What has worked for you guys?
So under Markel Corporate, we have basically an outside in and an inside out perspective. So I have a colleague who runs our innovation team, which is kind of our inside out team. So really consulting with our internal clients, our internal divisions, our internal products on what we can build internally, how we can help solve problems, how we can layer over specific IT initiatives, and add value on creative thinking and different projects along that line. And then we've got our outside in area, and that's really where we're out in the market. We're scouting startups, especially within insurance, but outside of insurance as well. Scouting technologies, identifying where we can find areas to plug them into different parts of our business, and we've kind of got a funnel that's based on that. And the funnel looks to route those particular opportunities into different areas. So the first one would be, this is something that is maybe incremental innovation, or our team has identified a specific problem in this claims area in this office. Because we actually do road shows to all of our offices and where we try to identify problems and go back to where we might have a solution to hook them up. And sometimes we would help with the POCs or the pilots, and we would work with that group on kind of executing on that. Sometimes we just kick it over. So it's very iterative on kind of really what makes sense. If we just kick it over, we just make sure that we're kind of still involved on it. And then we've got this kind of group, which is a much smaller subset that really wants to develop a brand new product or entrepreneur wants to maybe pursue a new business model and is really looking for capacity, maybe some underwriting expertise, but is bringing distribution, acquisition, and technology to the table. And we would evaluate that from an underwriting standpoint first and kind of make sure it fits within our knowledge base or our kind of appetite area. And if that's the case and we think there's opportunity there, that actually sticks within our group and we build that together as a P&L with that partner. So we've got a couple of those things going on. And then we've got investments where it makes sense. So we source a lot of investments through that funnel as well, and we'll make investments on where it makes sense and where we're trying to implement on if it's working with our internal groups or if it's building from scratch.
So we talked about the innovation journey this time and the last summit, and we've been chatting with different partners at different stages. And how we describe it is that you have a phase of, let's say a phase 0, which is like, hey, innovation is for losers. So no, like I'm putting that aside. Innovation 1 is understanding, like I want to know what's going on and what should I do. Experimentation, I'm just playing it out. I want to get my setup right, my structure right. And then we have creation of value. And the way that we kind of know people at creation of value is that if they've gone through the phase of getting the procurement process right, and now when they're looking at a deal, they're looking at how does that save me money or make me money. The whole idea of just POCs and pilots being the KPI, that this year my goal is to do 10 POCs, that's not how you make money. It's like the post stage of that. And I think Markel is one of the ones that when we talk to them, we kind of know that they're at that maturity level with innovation. We sense that. So could you walk me through your innovation journey and what was the timeline of it for you guys to get to the stage to kind of think of everything that way?
Sure. So I would say we really started pursuing how we were going to put something together in about 2015. And we put a small team together and we just started exploring. And there was a catalyst from that of, like, how do we just be a little more forward thinking? And so we kind of explored the market. We went out to our partners. We went out and looked at what other industries were doing and how they were setting those up. And we spent, 6 to 9 months just really kind of ideating inside and, kind of whiteboarding. Here's all the different things that we could do. And then from there, we kind of said, well, what makes sense specifically for our organization? Where do we have the muscle memory to create things? Where culturally does it make sense? I mean, we kind of whittled down some different areas where it would be an easier focus. And then from there, we actually proposed that to the executive team. So went back and got some support from some of our trading partners, got some support from some startups that we had worked with, and kind of got people in our organization who had actually been in startups before to kind of think about how we would identify projects and move forward.
Did you have a lot of those?
We had a few, yeah. So I was one. So so we had a couple other people, but we grew by acquisition, and we acquired companies that had been startups in the past. So we usually had a couple folks, within those who had seen how it had happened. And that was helpful just to kind of explain how we look at metrics and how we kind of think about making investments and how it's going to interact with our business. And then from there we actually created a specific group and we pitched everything, right? Any idea under the sun, we explored it at some capacity, and we took swags at what is this going to cost us, and some of it just didn't make sense for us. And the things that did is kind of how we whittled down over the years. So I think then we joined Plug and Play in 2016, I believe, and really started leveraging that. And I did the Silicon Valley petting zoo, and took folks out here, and we put presentations together and
remember those
raw stuff. Say that again.
I remember those. Yeah,
they were a lot of fun, but now we're actually doing that with line level people, management folks, people who are actually trying to get out of their day-to-day, and so they can see, what we were seeing earlier, and they can see how it's impacting.
Expose them, change the culture, change the mindset. Yeah,
absolutely. And so through that process is kind of where we got to the point was we identified we had a need to have our own internal startup to be able to leverage on certain opportunities that we didn't have an area internally. So it wasn't competitive with something we were doing, but it made sense from a cultural level. And it also made sense from kind of like our underwriting mantra. So there's some things that we're not comfortable underwriting, and so those aren't going to be things we're going to pursue. But there are a lot of things we are comfortable with, and we have expertise. So we really went and talked to our underwriting experts, and how can we put these things together? Because our core business is underwriting. And so that was really important to be aligned with that. So it just kind of morphed and evolved to the point where it is now. We're starting to hit scale on some of our projects. I mean, we had POCs as a metric a couple of years ago, and we did a lot of them. And we got people comfortable with what failure looked like and how we could be okay with that.
Was that the goal, to actually fail and learn, or?
At that point it was, yeah. So we would report back that here's what we learned. And we could actually put an ROI that may not necessarily been a dollar of revenue or an expense savings, but the learning impact was having impact on people in the organization. So we ran a couple pilots. We identified people throughout the organization that were kind of like our underground that could help, right? People who were interested in it, people who wanted to be involved, and people who we could leverage to implement projects. And then as we had successes here and there, we just doubled down on those. And success begets success, and you start to see the tire rolling.
So how long did it take you, do you think, to go from understanding to experimentation, from experimentation to creation of value?
I think, so we had probably a 4-level process for each one,
Okay.
and it was 12 to 18 months, kind of in each segment.
And you guys just got to creation of value recently, or is that?
We're starting to hit scale on a lot of projects where we're seeing like actual revenue and actual expense savings that are like, okay, well, this has a lot of opportunity around it. So that's really exciting. It's still de minimis to our organization.
So the success for experimentation phase was number of pilots and POCs you do, and the learnings that you took away was success. And then in creation of value, now you're looking at money made or money saved, and that's like 3 years down the line.
That's about what it was for us from where we were seeing it. But we're still doing the first part, right? So what we're doing now is we're putting people in the organization in their area that can do POCs on their own, right? They don't need someone to come help them, come help with a pilot, put together the partnership and how it looks initially. We help where it makes sense, but a lot of people have learned how to do it on their own, and so that's seeping through into a lot of different areas.
So 2 different things that you said that was super interesting. One is that how do you do that? How does the innovation team get involved with doing POCs or pilots? I don't know if you define them as the same thing or you define them different, because some organizations have the POC and innovation team, pilot in the business unit, or do you say that no, like POC, pilot, business unit, just let us know.
We don't have rules around it. Okay. So I look to find where the opportunities are, iterate where it makes sense, and see who we're working with. So we have some groups that are like, we want to do everything ourselves, or we don't want to do anything, and that's
just
fine.
stay out of it.
We just then I do.
What's your expectation from them then?
From those particular groups?
Like for example, because one of the things that we always talk about is a hybrid innovation structure in which you have some consistency just for the brand, because a lot of people say, Munich Re is a good example. I mean, Munich Re has like all these different business units, has all these different, it's a global operation, it's a big company, and obviously different needs, right? But like as a startup, you talk to Munich Re, you look at Munich Re. You don't look at Munich Re as like, oh no, this is Munich Re Singapore. This is a different company than Munich Re US. No, it's the same brand. So there needs to be some consistency, I would assume. And then how do you guys approach it?
So from our partnerships, that's an area where we try to have a consistent source, a centralized source, CRM, if you will, in how we're engaging with particular startups. Just so we don't come into a meeting and not know that somebody just had a meeting with somebody else in our organization 2 weeks ago. So that's really important. But in the actual execution of it, it's, like I said, it's very iterative. And so in a big organization, there's lots of areas to find opportunities. And so if we don't have one here, we can move on to the next one. We've got them lined up. And what we've had now is as people see success, then they're starting to come to us. So deal flow is starting to come to us rather than us going out and getting it.
You guys have problems like politics? Like, this is my startup, no, that's my startup?
We have.
You don't have to comment
We have a
on
big organization, so we have this similar things in any organization, but we have a specific culture that empowers people to do the right thing and make the right decision, and that really seeps down. And we talk about that at every meeting, and it comes from the top all the way down. And we talk about it with our acquisitions, and we talk about it with our startup investments, and like, this is how we operate, this is how we behave as an organization, and we do what we say we're going to do.
I think one of the most important things that I've seen, it's been super effective on the innovation team's job, like in the mandates, has been, how do you tell the story? It's like the story of innovation, the story of successes, the story of failures. Is how do you sell internally? It's been something that I've seen the good and bad side of it with some of our partners. How do you guys tell your story? And do you feel like, what are some of the lessons you learned there?
So it's kind of a startup mentality. We put our marketing out there, and if we don't get the type of reaction we want, we iterate and we change it. And when we find something that works, then we kind of double down on it. So some of it's just kind of like continuously doing it. So getting more engaged in the organization. I've got a bunch of colleagues that will go out and just give presentations to certain groups. Like HR has a monthly meeting. We'll give a 10-minute presentation to HR to say, hey, here's what we do. Here's where we can help. If you want to, give us a call, right? If something makes sense. Typically, we'll get more calls than we can handle from those types of things. Whatever your kind of internal comms are. So we're trying to leverage our internal comms more, our internal podcast where we interview folks. We try to be creative about it. But I'd say the key to it is just the continuously marketing it, continuously finding opportunities.
One of the biggest challenges that most companies have is that, obviously you're a public company too, is that you have quarterly results, but at the same time you're trying to invest in this thing that is like 5 years from now or 3 years from now. So when you go pitch the story inside and you have all these failures in your experimentation phase, how did you manage to get support that you need? Like how do you make sure your job is safe, that no one's going to fire you after you had 10 failures?
We had support from the top. And so
you had his word on contract that I'm not going to get fired if I get it.
Not specifically, but
should have, man. I'm telling you.
But we had support on what we were trying to do. So when we pitched what we wanted to do, we pitched it to the top, and we said, "Is this something that you guys think would be valuable for us?" And we got absolutely and a green light on that.
Every pilot, most of it like a mandate, like
the high level.
Yeah,
right?
got it.
So
and then one thing else that is interesting is that how do you guys invest? Like one of the things that I've seen that is super interesting is that some people first invest, then introduce to business unit. Some people first do business units, then invest. Like what's your investment philosophy? Why would you wouldn't invest?
Typically, specifically where we're investing in early stage companies, we are looking for our business and operational relationship first. And we're identifying where that is and how it can help us in a specific way. And that's usually the catalyst to moving on to an actual financial position in the organization.
And the reason you're investing, is it because of financial ROI or is like different rights and so on?
We are going to try not to invest in companies where we're going to lose money.
That's a good strategy.
But the first thing we're looking for is a strategic alignment, and how can we put the puzzle together with a strategic alignment with our partner? What do we think about the team? How is it culturally? And during that time, obviously, we're looking at the financials depending on the stage of the organization. We are judged on a financial metric as well, along with additional metrics.
Yeah, that's what I heard public companies do. So you guys have a global operation. The funny thing is that there's I've been traveling recently a lot, and every city I go in the world, I kind of run into Markel guys, like from Brazil all the way to Munich, and then I go to Singapore, and then you guys are everywhere. So how do you govern the innovation structure that way? Like it's such a global operation and so scattered. How do you get involved with everyone? How is the innovation team structured in a way that kind of manages to take care of everyone? Or if do you guys take care of everyone?
We're a little more decentralized when we get outside of North America. I think I heard that our CEO said our Indian team doubled last year from 1 to 2. So we're not everywhere. We have a big European
Rapid
team,
growth.
and those guys we communicate pretty frequently, and we're typically communicating on opportunities that we're seeing, or we're kicking product ideas back and forth. But it's really our initiative on doing it. So we're not managing innovation from the top in what's going on in our Munich office, for example.
And then when it comes to, I think another thing that I've seen happening a lot is that a lot of our partners come back and say, hey, I wanted to use this company, but then someone internally said, I could build it myself. Like our IT team said that we could build it. Don't use this company. How do you guys manage that? Like, where do you use open innovation versus internal kind of capabilities for building stuff?
It kind of depends on where it fits. We have a good understanding of our current technology roadmap, meaning our team internally. So I know that what our big platforms are doing from a technology side, and so I'm not going to bring something to the table where I know that there's putting a lot of resource into it, unless it's just an idea or to help. So we pretty much avoid a lot of conflicts like that because there's so many opportunities. The conflicts are typically unnecessary to have. So we actually don't. I haven't had that conversation a lot where someone says we can do it ourselves. And when we have had it, we've analyzed, well, what does that mean for us? And if we are going to do it ourselves, can we do it as well? And if we can do it as well, is it going to be cheaper? Is it going to be faster? Is it going to be better? And so we kind of just walk through that process sometimes on a design thinking how we're going to do it. And usually the answer comes back at the end that everyone can agree on.
One of my favorite examples is Google. It's as a tech company gets, right? PhD, Stanford, bunch of tech people, best tech talent in the world, and they still have the Google Launchpad, they have G Capital, they have Google Ventures, and they're working with all these companies, buying them. Google Photos was the acquisition. Like when you look at most of the new capabilities Google has was a startup acquisition. So when insurance companies tell us we could build it better in-house, I'm like, okay. But anyway, whatever works. So one of the most challenging things, and you kind of touched on it, but if you guys had done anything specific about it, I would like to talk about, is obviously after 2 or 3 years, we realized the more and more we engage with innovation teams that the business units who are actually the buyers are not ready yet. So how do you create that infrastructure of culture, or like even infrastructure in general, to be able to, across the company, have that mindset that, change is happening and we need to be ready for it and to be willing to change and work with companies?
What's been successful for us is just having conversations with the business units. Sometimes we'll just go sit in their monthly meetings or say, hey, can we sit in your monthly meeting and hear about what you're talking about? And a lot of times in there, we'll identify specific problems and we'll just say, hey, I might have a solution for this problem. You do that enough and you get a lot of people who are like, well, I'd like a solution for that problem. And then, other people kind of see what's happening there. So that's been really successful for us. Again, the road shows that we do where we just present, here's what we do, just so you know. And if, here's the opportunities we may have. And that's engaged a lot of folks. And then we get people who, are like, well, I'm not empowered to do that. Like, well, we can help, right? We can help talk about how it looks, how you can do it still within your day-to-day, possibly provide resource if you can't commit resource to it, if we think it's that important, and we'll walk you through. And then you've got other people who are like, I can do this, what's next? And we work with however that makes sense. And I feel like we have tons of business units, right? Tons of different underwriting units and claims units and operational units. So there's a lot of folks who want to get engaged.
And I know you guys do workshops and you do like different events and different ways to expose them.
Two things that have been really successful is we actually just had an Innovation Expo in Richmond at our headquarters last 2 weeks ago. We had Steven from Plug and Play actually.
Oh, really?
We had pitch sessions where we could just expose more people to different opportunities, different ideas, and what we do and how it can help them in their day to day. And that was just, and we had like 750 people that attended all of our sessions, and it was a really big success. Thanks to Mark Gardella for putting that together.
So if you had to go back 3 years and give Trent an advice, what would that be?
I would have moved much more quickly on identifying the process to put the partnerships together. Meaning, if you look at your procurement process, one of the things that we did after some time was we've got these security questionnaires, we've got legal asking for these types of contracts. They don't seem to be working. Well, what we did is we rewrote them ourselves and then brought them back to the procurement team and said, hey, what if we used this as a light touch for these particular partnerships? So we did the work for them, and we got a lot of great feedback. And we were able to negotiate, like that process down significantly, where we can actually put our partnerships together much more quickly than we could in the past. And so I would have done that a lot sooner.
Last question, one before last. As you have evolved in terms of your capabilities and your needs, how have you evolved leveraging Plug and Play? Because that's a big thing that we have with a lot of partners. Because a lot of people still use us the way they used 3 years ago, and I feel like there's different ways to leverage a platform like this. What has worked for you?
So the biggest thing that we're attempting to leverage with Plug and Play now that we haven't in the past is just getting in front of more and more of our employees. So inviting you guys out, leveraging you to help us put events on so other people can see. It's hard, you put like, you invite folks to something like this, and we actually had 2 people cancel last week, right? They couldn't make it. So we're trying to go to them and leveraging Plug and Play to help us. And you guys have been great in doing that, so thank you.
Last question, off script. You ready? I know you're big on Bitcoin. Is this a good time to buy? Ooh, on the spot.
I think you should be leveraging into Bitcoin 1% to 2% of your portfolio, specifically you.
Me? Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Trent, and thank you for listening.
All right, thank you so much. So we're going to jump right into our pitches soon. Yeah, gentlemen, can you get these for me? Yeah, it's going to be a tight 3 minutes as best we can do, as well as I see this is aesthetically pleasing. Can you take this? Thank you. I know this is aesthetically pleasing, but on the back of it, we do have a voting area as well. We want you to look at our startups and see which ones you like the best, which ones had the best presentations, et cetera, et cetera. Voting is open and live now, as well as Booking Umbrella. So please use this to your advantage and our advantage as well. We really like to see our best performers. All right, we're going to jump right into it. So please welcome the friend we've all been waiting for, Buddy.
Buenos dias, guten tag, konnichiwa, hello. I am Charles Merritt. I am the CEO of Buddy, and I am very lucky to work with an amazing team. Collectively, we've sold 2 companies, we've managed a $300 million travel insurance portfolio, we've won 12 Gold Lions at Cannes, and we are passionate about our outdoor pursuits. This is my friend Matt. When Matt tore his bicep in a skiing accident, he found himself stuck with a hefty bill. Even with health insurance, Matt still owed over $6,000 out of pocket to cover his deductibles, co-pays, and outpatient surgery. Now, when you add in the cost of an ambulance ride, drugs, physical therapy, travel changes, damaged gear, childcare, and your time, an accident drains people's financial resources far beyond what the average American can afford, when an unexpected $500 expense would put most people over a barrel. And we started to see this gap when our friends, who we play sports with, bike, climb with, started sending us their GoFundMe campaigns to pay for their hospital bills after an accident. So, Buddy has launched the first and only on-demand accident insurance. We rolled out earlier this year in Arizona, and we're now live in 7 states. You can get covered for as little as a day or as much as a year, and for $50,000 of coverage, you'll pay about the same price as that t-shirt from the event that proves that you've been there and done that. So that's $9.72 for an individual for a day, or just $50 a month for an annual plan. Now, like me and Matt, 142 million Americans participate in outdoor activities every year, and on average, we take 77 outings each. So to reach this audience, when we surveyed them, we found that 70% of them wanted some type of non-annual accident coverage. And so what we did, we used Buddy's partner API to integrate with the registration and checkout systems where our customers are already signing up. And we also power direct customer communication through e-commerce, our customer portal, and a proprietary NLP chat system. We're getting great feedback from our customers who are running faster and sending it out there. And we've covered over 7,000 days of activity, with 34% of our customers making repeat purchases. With these great early results, we've gone after partners in the last couple of months, and in May, our partner audience reach surpassed 1 million outdoor enthusiasts. We're now working to integrate with these partners, and our next steps are a 50-state rollout to continue to expand on the great relationships we've made here at Plug and Play and to close out a round. So if you're interested in meeting up with me here and joining us on our journey to help people fearlessly lead active outdoor lives, come find me at a break or look me up on Umbrella. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is certified in meditation from the School of Practical Philosophy here in the Bay Area. Please welcome Fit Bliss.
Good morning. My name is Naveed Rastegar, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of FitBliss. From 2011 to 2014, I was a top 1% performer in sales, but it didn't come without a price of feeling burnt out, extreme levels of stress, and mental fatigue. And I realized I wasn't alone. Stress in the workplace is at an all-time high, with up to 40% reporting burnout each year, costing employers $600 billion a year in lost productivity. And the current wellness technologies just aren't making the cut. It's time we make a change. It's time for health productivity to be ingrained in the whole employment experience. So I started FitBliss with a mission to pursue how we can maximize employee performance through optimizing their health. We're going to provide FitBliss to people in all industries. But we're going to start with the sales and service teams, as they cover, on average, 50% of the workforce. And 80% of those report significantly high burnout. With our embedded product inside the leading CRM in the world, Salesforce.com, our customers can see how, for instance, 8 hours of sleep can help them win more deals. And we all know sales and service teams love incentives and opportunities. Our product is uniquely embedded inside the CRM. We connect our favorite wearables and fitness apps directly inside the CRM. Each employee can set up their own health and productivity goals. Like, for instance, that early morning run has a direct impact on your sales and service performance. And each sales and service rep, when they hit their goals, will receive a FitBliss badge. As I just mentioned, they do love those incentives, and they do love that recognition. We provide intelligent health recommendations directly inside the experience. For instance, stress, mindfulness, exercise, nutrition, and sleep, to help them become that top 1% performer. Now, from 2017 to 2018, we 10x'd our revenue. We closed Salesforce.com to a 40,000 user deal globally. And just last month, we signed MetLife as to their Salesforce users for our product to be embedded in their CRM experience. We're not only beating our customers in this $7.8 billion well-being engagement market, but we're doing so alongside measurable productivity KPIs, such as your sales and your service. And we've seen research showing us that engaged sales and service teams can drive profits by up to 30%. That's a huge win for both the employee and the employer. And we have the best team to drive our success. So please connect with me, Naveed Rastegar, and I'm happy to share more information on how health creates wealth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next startup is named so good that they had to put it in their title twice. Please welcome Healthy Health.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Etienne Bourdon, CEO and co-founder of Healthy Health. Healthy Health is about digital health risk assessment, which means what is my risk to be diagnosed for most of the medical conditions based on the data. Usually, we don't know what is our risk to be diagnosed for any medical condition. We are surrounded by data, but we're just waiting for the risk to happen to be able to face it. If we want really to have some more information about our risk, we are having two solutions at the moment. Medical questionnaire, which is long, time-consuming, a bit outdated, I should say. It's not so great in terms of accuracy. Or we have the other approach, which is the medical examination. That is usually used as a complementary part to the medical questionnaire. Medical examination is great, but it's expensive, very time-consuming, and usually it covers 2 or 3 medical conditions at a time. So the solution that we propose is a digital health risk assessment, which is cheap, fast, very accurate, and a very good thing is that it can be recurring, so you can see the evolution of this risk. how does it work? So we have the data that we collect from people, from Apple Health, Google Fit, whatever like data you have in your mobile phone. So it's like 600,000 points per individual per year in average. This data is kind of matched with the data sets that we are based our model on, which is a data set of 1 million people followed over 22 years in terms of diagnosis. So very rich data set. And based on the merge of these two data sets, we can provide like a very accurate risk profile, which is the risk to be diagnosed for 800 medical conditions. We've been creating two products. One click for the insurance underwriting, which is like exactly the risk assessment, and you might be interested on. And one for prevention, because we can go beyond the underwriting for also the prevention part. For the digital pricing model, which is the underwriting product, what we do is we start from this risk profile that I just described, and we add up some extra mortality data set to be able to provide to the insurer what is required to make a price, which is the extra mortality, either per medical condition or for the overall person. We work with a UK insurer, but also we started like recently with an American company as well. It's a simple API that you connect within your underwriting journey, and we can support most of the countries. The estimated lift is like 20% reduction in dropout for the underwriting process, 12% more accurate risk assessment, which makes you also able to improve and make a difference on the market on your pricing. If I go to the prevention side, and I'm getting quick, we are using the same risk profile for the prevention side, but instead of doing like a price, we're doing like an estimation of what should be the prevention recommendation per medical condition, or more precisely, exactly for this risk profile. And this is a set of personal intake values. We're working with Centrica, which is 35,000 employee, and that's the use case I'm developing here. So we are providing for this company like a prevention app that provides the risk assessment, which transforms into prevention opportunity, but also a daily recommendation for food intake, especially designed for this particular risk profile, physical exercise, mental exercise, and sleep. The improvement on the risk has been minus 1.5 per month, which is very great. We measured like 9% accuracy and a 96% intake on the uptake on the product. So if you want to be in that area of digital risk assessment, please come and see me.
Thank you so much. So typically my doctor tells me to stay away from pie, but please welcome PAI Health.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Peter Taylor. I'm the CEO of Pi Health. Our goal today is to get invited to Saeed's backyard party this evening. So let's do it. So there's some inequality on this screen. For decades, we've been measuring movement. Movement isn't always equal for people, and sometimes a step isn't the same as a step. With personal activity intelligence, instead of the movement, we measure the body's response to the movement. We measure the heart's response to the movement. Uniquely, we give everyone a personal, intelligent weekly plan for how much activity to do next week to reduce their risk of a heart attack. We recommend using rewards to make behavior change stick. And we have a corpus of 1 million person-years of data underpinning our algorithm. It measures any form of exercise for any person health level. The common language here is cardiorespiratory fitness, made popular by the gas mask test, measuring your VO2 max. We don't need to use the gas mask, we don't need the treadmill. We just need regular data from a wearable. Fill in the quick survey, find out your health age. After you've discovered your health age, where are you at? Then use a wearable to validate that you didn't tell any porky pies when you were filling in that form. And then Over the following weeks, get our guidance for how to reduce your risk or increase your protection from some of the world's lifestyle diseases. Our data set shows great impact on high risk and everyday people. So how does this work for insurance? Here's a quick example. Someone who might be substandard, they apply for insurance, and they get not very attractive terms, either not great coverage or not great pricing. But with Pi, we meet them where they're at. We monitor their effort to improve their heart health and reduce their risk of all the lifestyle diseases. And then after 6 or 12 months, insurers can then use that as a way of reevaluating that person's rating. So uniquely, we bring dynamic insurance for substandard that might offer them better pricing and giving them real-time feedback on their health status. We've got traction all around the world. I'm proud to announce a partnership with the American Heart Association, who believe in our science because it improves heart health. Genri, the reinsurer, and Huami, the world's biggest wearable company. So, if you'd like to find out more, please come meet me upstairs. Come and find out your heart age, and come and find out how a workshop with us can help you learn more about how to use heart health to drive growth in insurance. Thank you very much.
Moving on alphabetically, we're going to go on to PBI. Please welcome PBI.
I didn't get a clever quip or anything, just PBI. That's fine. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matt Murphy, and we are PBI, and we find dead people. And we do it better than anybody else. And I know I'm super fun at parties because this is what I do, find dead people, but that's besides the point. So, as many of you know, you're required by about 20 different states to utilize something called the Death Master File in identifying potential deaths. And what has happened since 2011 is the amount of deaths that have been reported by the Social Security Administration Death Master File has dramatically reduced. Currently, right now, only 35% of deaths in the United States are reported by the Death Master File. And so what did we do? We built databases and integrated technology utilizing AI and blockchain to build our database to be the largest death database in the United States. And so in 2019, just in January, we launched something called Assertideath. So all of this is just data, right? It resides in claims, it resides in other areas, but we've realized something. We want to get out of the data business and we want to get into the answer business, and that's why we created Assertideath. It integrates death data from over 20,000 different sources into a single platform where we provide not just data to you where you have to do fuzzy logic matching, all of that stuff is integrated to the Assertideath platform, and we provide you with answers, not just data. And the other thing that we realized through plug and play is we've run a lot of pilots with insurers here and reinsurers, and we realized that there's other applications, not just in claims, but all aspects of your company can be impacted by good, accurate death data, enhanced data-driven underwriting, human resources, decrease fraud, eliminate overpayments. All of these things are integral with good death data. And you know what, the last one? There was a story that was told to us by one of our insurers, and they were able to identify a deceased individual, and the family had no idea that they had a life policy. And that company reached out to that family and provided the benefit. And what do you think happened? They immediately signed up with that company. So it's not just identifying dead people, but it's reaching out to customers and bringing them into the fold. And so we offer a complimentary mortality analysis so that we can identify potential decedents in your population and move forward. And that's it. And thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Oh, one more startup before we go to break. This startup's name has never been used to describe me by my wife. Please welcome Planswell.
Good morning, I'm Eric Rognes from Planswell. For his entire adult life, my father had a keen interest in the markets. I remember every weekend he'd drive half an hour across town to the only local newsstand that carried the Financial Times just to get the week's update on the finances. When I was a teenager, something unexpected happened. He was seriously injured at work. Fortunately, he had disability insurance, which covered the transition for him to become a financial advisor. Now, most countries have child labor laws, but he assured me that Canada did not. And so he quickly put me to work distributing flyers, setting up trade show booths, managing his contact database, and operating a printing press in the basement. Because why would you pay someone else to print brochures if you could do it yourself? So needless to say, I quickly developed a very deep understanding of every aspect of the retail financial advisor business. Now, if you look at the people around you, your circle of friends and family, pretty much no one knows what they need to do on a regular basis right now to maintain their lifestyle through the rest of their career and into retirement. As a result, pretty much everyone is going to suffer a substantial decline in lifestyle, whether that's when they finish working or when they put their kids through school or when something unexpected happens. So obviously the solution is a plan that shows them the investments, the borrowing, the insurance that they need to hit all their goals 100% of the time. Sadly, for pretty much everyone you know, that is not going to happen. For people like my father, they can't afford the steak dinners and the 40 hours that it takes to do a plan for somebody who doesn't already have substantial assets and cash flow. So a few years ago, my co-founder came to me and said, what if we could solve this problem? What if we could prevent lifestyle declines? What if we could skip the steak dinner and people would just provide us all the information and we'd build a system that would build a plan absolutely in their best interest, and then the advisor could put in place the products that would make that plan happen. So in Canada, we've done a really good job of this. Over the last 18 months, we delivered 150,000 financial plans. And these aren't people that were looking for a financial plan. These aren't people who are looking for insurance. These are completely new people we're bringing to the table. Essentially, these are people that were making themselves a ham sandwich. They're about to watch some Netflix. And they just took 3 minutes and they built themselves a financial plan. So for us, the second thing that we did also was we've learned how to turn these users into clients. And we've begun sharing our experience and our technology with life insurance companies around the world. We're actually launching in 6 new countries. And for the United States, we're targeting somewhere between late next year and the year after for expanding to the US. So if you're able to make that expansion easy for us, we'd love to talk more with you, whether that's as a manufacturer or in client services. And yeah, I will be here the rest of today and tomorrow morning. Come see me. Bye for now.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break, so if you need to use the bathroom or if you want to grab some more coffee, feel free. We'll be back here in a few minutes. Do not forget to vote. We really would love to see that, as well as if you want to meet any of the startups that you've heard from so far, feel free to schedule them Umbrella. Thank you so much. Hey everybody, I know it's exciting, but can we all find our seats? We're going to get started pretty soon. So if you all can grab your coffee and get situated, we're going to get started real soon. Thank you.
Regulators and insurtechs that are looking to get into the field of insurance. The industry is on the cusp of a major transformation, and the insurance regulators want to stay abreast of all of these developments.
You know, it's interesting. Insurance and those in our ecosystem seem to think that somehow we're not as good as banking, we're not as good as other ecosystems or other industries. But you know, we are uniquely positioned in insurance, and we really need to say we're in a great place. And if something took 5 years to happen in the banking world, it's going to take 2.5 now. Wherever we go in the next 5 years, let's just know that we're going to go there very, very efficiently. We should be ready to get proud of ourselves.
One of the priorities of the NEIC over the last couple of years has been to work harder to help our members, the insurance regulators, get a better understanding of really what's going on. And Plug and Play, of course, is at the forefront of that.
It's a great group of people who we've had the chance to learn from and hopefully contribute to a little bit as well.
All right, everyone, please have a seat. We're going to get started. Please find a chair. Hopefully it's your chair. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to kick it off right after the break with our first startup here. Please welcome Akinova.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. So my name is Henri Winan. I'm the CEO of Akinova. I'm going to present to you a marketplace which often is described as Bloomberg meets capital markets meets insurance. So the last time there was a big change in the transfer of risks to capital markets between insurance and capital markets was brought about by intra-year risk volatility. And out of that came insurance-linked securities. They still have the biorhythm of a year. If you then look at cyber risk, they start to bring that down to intra-week, intra-day, or even lower than that. That requires digital insurance-linked securities. And the insurance industry so far, the response has been quite muted. There's about $3 billion to $6 billion of premium a year for about $1 trillion worth of reported loss annually today. And that's about to increase to about $6 trillion a year by the early 20s. So what we've done is go around and ask what people want. And what they want is an independent marketplace, which means that all players can participate and big players don't fear to have to share their data with their competitors. It's better, it's digital, to offer better liquidity, to really unlock growth and particularly capital behind those risks. So it's an electronic marketplace with digital insurance-linked securities to start. It's licensed in Bermuda, starting with PropCat, NatCat, and Cyber. And it also has clear rule book, regulated by the BMA. We're starting to onboard some clients now, so if anybody has some clients who would like to place some insurance-linked securities products, please come and see us. We have a clear plan, and I have to say Plug and Play are absolutely awesome. We're on time and on target. Often people ask me, do you have 25 people? We don't, but we work like we have 25 people. That's the core team. And a fantastic advisory board as well. We're backed by great people who have left us as independent. And let's have a look at the product. So now you can start to create auctions, get all the documentation with the chat environment on the platform. These are some of the trading screens, obviously a little bit speeded up. Then you have, coming from second half of this year, so from in about a month from now, we introduce the hub, where you can see you can do auctions, clearing, portfolio analytics, and more. We then stream third-party news and analytics through the marketplace in your portfolio to offer to you the ability to have contextual news which are relevant to you and your participants. And then we finish up with essentially a platform on an app. And that's us, Akinova. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Our next startup runs InsurTech ATX and looks forward to hosting you at next one of those events down in Austin, Texas. Please welcome ClaimBot.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Miguel Fernandez. I'm the founder of ClaimBot. We make every interaction between you and your customers better by leveraging artificial intelligence and avoiding the human touch. We're backed by Google and working with Audi's rental car startup in Austin, Texas called Silvercar. But rather than pitch you on what ClaimBot can do, because SG has heard it 3 times, Jobe 4 times, the guys from RIC 20 times, I wanted to share some observations that you can take as you consider your innovation roadmap in customer experience. What you're seeing here is images from a core systems brochure. And these are the users that they show in their brochure. This guy on a desktop, that guy on a desktop, she works for us, another person on a desktop, right? So all these people get paid to solve your problems. They have to figure out where the policy is no matter what, because if they don't, you won't pay them. It's their job to use the software that's in front of them. He does too. He needs your check because he's solving one of your claims at a shop. So you're spending most of your money on software built for people that work for you. They have no choice but to use the software that you put in their hands. Meanwhile, your customer is considering giving you money. And he's on mobile doing God knows what here. That's from the same brochure. It's the only picture of a customer in that brochure. So is it any mystery that 8% of customers surveyed use digital portals to do F&O? So we can change the name from portal to something else, but the results remain the same. So I just want you to think of that. How are you going to improve customer experience? And my suggestion is to use core systems for what they're good at and leverage startups for the rest. And this goes for your internal resources. They're great at managing data, at setting up those core systems. Use them for that. Do not burn those resources on the front end. Instead, invest in the foundation. Expose endpoints to validate a policy, to get a quote, to create a claim, to check status. And then no matter what happens, startups will be able to solve it because we can integrate to those systems. So use your resources for what they're good at. And then layer partners like ClaimBot on top. ClaimBot leverages AI to automate and enhance customer interactions. And we're doing it for Silvercar. Sorry, give me a second. Real quick. We're doing it for Omadi. For more than 2 years, roadside assistance has been solved by our AI. Silvercar by Audi, we're handling 3,000 interactions a month for them, 67% contained in the bot. And then Brightside Cover in Australia is using our virtual assistants to quote, purchase coverage, check status, and raise FNOL. So we are ClaimBot. I'd love to meet with you guys. find me on Umbrella. Thank you very much.
All right, our next startup uses two words that I've never found in the same sentence, but please welcome ClearLaw.
Good morning. It's great to see so many people here. A lot of people representing different companies, different organizations. Thank you. One thing I feel confident saying is that no matter where you come from, what organization you're representing, you deal with a lot of contracts, or at least someone does at your organization. My name is Jordan Rittenauer, and I'm the CEO of ClearLaw. Our mission, our commitment to your corporate legal departments is to make them 5 times more efficient within 90 days. And we do this using machine learning, AI, natural language processing. It has different names to different people. I'm not one of those people that thinks AI is coming for all our jobs, but I do think businesses that aren't deploying these tools now are wasting highly skilled employees' time on tedious tasks. You're probably facing pressure to use some of these tools. It seems like every business department is. The problem for legal is that it's largely been left behind. So you have a lot of sales and marketing tools out there that increase deal volume, deal velocity. However, it has to fit through the same legal pipeline. And the legal bottleneck gets worse as organizations continue to grow. So at ClearLaw, we started with the mindset that quality contract review shouldn't necessitate a trade-off between accuracy and speed. So what we've done is create a new technology that makes use of all the past contracting decisions and experience your team has and leverage that in future negotiations. So what you're seeing here is a virtual assistant, Allie, providing context around certain deal terms that your organization cares about. So it's all based off of your own contract data. This allows your team to focus on what really matters, the strategic items, and skip some of the boilerplate. You're still confident that it fits in line with your terms. This isn't a black box. We've made it really easy to reference where these suggestions are coming from because it's based off your own data. So no longer will your team have to recreate the wheel every time, looking for relevant language. Where did we last see this term? What did we do? How did we react to it? But this isn't just a tool for contract reviewers. It's also a tool for managers because for the first time, you're going to have real insights into where you're getting your deals pushed back on, what terms are causing friction, and how you responded. And in the aggregate over time, can help leaders make decisions about how to drive negotiations faster and better. I put this slide in because there's a lot of different types of companies here. We're working with a variety. We're not specific to a certain type of contract. We conform, again, to your own data. So we can provide you insights on whatever contract you'd like to start with. So whether it's a procurement team, contracting team, in-house corporate legal team, if you'd like them to move 5 times faster and still sleep soundly at night knowing they haven't missed any key terms, please find me afterwards. I'd love to talk to you, and we'll see if we can do that within 90 days of deployment. Thank you. We're not taking questions, right? No questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So our next startup will be coming down the line. They spin off of Game of Thrones. Please welcome Cyber Fortress.
Good morning. My name is Hugh Edwards, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Cyber Fortress. We're an insurtech managing general agency based in San Antonio, Texas, and we're building a new kind of online business interruption insurance designed for e-commerce companies. My background includes managing portfolio risk at Bridgewater Associates, the world's largest hedge fund, as well as most recently owning and operating a cybersecurity software company serving over 20,000 small business customers. My team has experience running web-scale infrastructure and analytics at Rackspace, and also in helping launching innovative insurance products at Lemonade and Slice. Over the past decade, our team has helped tens of thousands of small businesses with their IT infrastructure and cybersecurity software needs. And what we found was that when a small business suffers a cyber attack or a service provider failure that prevents them from collecting revenue, that their likelihood of survival is dependent on whether they have enough cash on hand to meet their critical needs, like making the next payroll. Most small businesses today don't have cyber insurance, but even being made whole on an insurance policy in 6 to 12 months' time may not matter if they're not able to weather the immediate storm. At Cyber Fortress, we solve this problem with a narrow-focused online business interruption policy that is parametric in nature. And when triggered by an unexpected downtime event, begins paying out lost revenue within 24 hours of the incident, getting cash in the hands of the insured when they need it most. How do we do this? We're collecting risk characteristics and downtime data on hundreds of thousands of e-commerce domains through time. And by utilizing deep learning algorithms, have developed a behavioral model for quantifying and pricing this downtime risk. Our model is not opinionated. We're not professing, what is good or bad based on our views or biases. Rather, the model is driven by the underlying downtime data experienced historically by e-commerce companies online. And it yields some pretty interesting results. This chart on the right here shows that the distribution here of websites and e-commerce sites that do not enforce secure website redirecting are considerably much riskier than the population that does enforce SSL. And most importantly, we do this from just the business email address. So I'm very excited to announce that today we are launching our Cyber Fortress Downtime Risk Assessment. So anyone can now go to our website, particularly e-commerce customers specifically, go to our website, enter their email address, and get their free risk assessment. After a simple email verification, you'll receive a risk score, as well as the contributing factors that can help you, an e-commerce customer, understand and mitigate your downtime risk. So go to cyberfortress.com right now and get your free risk score. And with that, with our risk score launched, our focus now is on launching our insurance policy in Texas first by the end of this year. And we're now kicking off our fundraising for our Series A. So if you're interested in talking about any of those, come find me afterwards, either Umbrella or at our demo table upstairs. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. The next startup will be is an innovative insurtech company helping you manage the risks of cross-border e-commerce. Please welcome Dauscher.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm Jin from Dauscher. I'm the VP of North America. And thank you for the presentation today. Oops, sorry. So we are a Chinese company, basically, and we are the first insurtech investment of plug and play in China. And what we do is we are expert of the cross-border e-commerce insurance. Yeah. So when we talk about our business, we talk about the market first. So as everyone knows that the market size of cross-border e-commerce has been growing quickly. And the total market size is about 2,000 billion right now. And why we started in China? Yeah, the first reason we are Chinese. And the second reason is, the China market is the single largest market of the world about inbound and outbound cross-border e-commerce, So the Chinese market, the inbound and outbound together is about 50% of the total market size. So the pain points, the supply chain, the logistics is very long when it goes to the cross-border. And the deal started from the seller and it goes to the cross-border logistics. Then the parcels go through the customers and it goes to local delivery vendors, and finally it goes to the buyer. But it doesn't end with the buyer because sometimes the buyer finds the parcel is broken, the size is not good, then it goes back to the seller through the customers and the cross-border logistics. So there are a lot of risks. So if we say it in one word, in one sentence, that's the risks are everywhere. So we really target this problem. So we build a back-end IT system, basically leveraging the big data and the blockchain technology. And our system connects the ecosystem partners, like the marketplace, sellers, logistics, payments, and the customers, and sometimes the credit data from the government resource. And we have over 400 ecosystem partners integrated with our IT system. And on the other side, we have an insurance network to connect the insurance company, banks, reinsurance companies. And for us, we have the online insurance brokerage license in China. So we basically can cover all the cross-border insurance to China, inbound and outbound. And we are also looking for partners who has license in other markets, like in US and in other countries. So this is our product. We have a product portfolio, basically cover all the risks in the cross-border e-commerce. And the first is called Logisure, and the second is SailSure, and the TrustSure basically covers logistics, seller, and the product quality. And our team, we are experienced professionals in this market. The CEO and the COO, the first two co-founders, they used to work for IBM in the InsurTech team, and Baron, our CEO, also used to work for Ping An Insurance, which is the largest insurance company in China. And we also have 3 other partners cover different markets. Yeah, so that's it. So if you're interested, if you're an insurance company, you have customers who want to buy insurance in the cross-border e-commerce market, so please come to us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Our next startup has clocked over 85,000 flying miles in 2019 alone. I'll ask them later if I can use their frequent flyer miles. Please welcome InsureMe.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sunny Patel. I'm the founder and chief executive officer at InsureMe. It's no secret that today insurance carriers are finding difficulty finding relevancy with millennials who prefer a digital experience, especially in 3 core customer-facing areas. On the sales side, carriers are still reliant on agents and brokers to acquire business. On the claim side, they're still reliant on complicated, crazy forms to process claims. And on the customer service side, they're still reliant on labor-intensive call centers. That's why we created InsureMe, a fully white-labeled digital engagement platform designed to guide consumers through the entire customer journey. So whether that be for sales, claims, or customer service, InsureMe is there. Through a beautifully designed conversational experience, InsureMe for Sales guides customers on desktop and mobile through coverage needs analysis, education, application, and binding. Once the customer goes through the chat experience to buy a policy, they get access to our customer dashboard where they can easily track their application in real time, live chat with the company, and kind of it becomes a central hub of communication once they're a policyholder. Our claims platform similarly guides customers to a guided first notice of loss. We've built in photo and video upload capability as well, so it's very easy for a customer to provide supporting evidence for their claim. And once they have submitted their claim, they get access to the dashboard where they can track their claim in real time. Finally, our customer service solution is built on Google's Dialogflow and can be customized for a variety of different use cases. So whether that be walking a customer through a guided conversational FAQ, or even policy servicing such as changing a beneficiary or an address, our AI can do that. And whenever it's not been trained to respond in a certain inquiry, we have warm transfer capability to a live agent as well. So we're going after a big market. There's 15,000 carriers across the planet. 70% of those lack a great digital engagement tool currently, and we're aiming to capture about 4% of that market. So while there are other chatbot companies out there, we've differentiated by building an end-to-end experience, so not just the front-end chat experience, but also the back-end retention tools through the customer dashboard. Since joining the Global Insurance Accelerator in 2018, we've signed multiple Fortune 500 carriers that currently use our solution, being accepted into both plug-and-play Singapore and Silicon Valley, and we just kicked off our seed raise 2 weeks ago. This is some of my team. We're based out of Phoenix, Arizona. We're a team of 7, mix of industry and technology experts. And also, we built out a great advisory board that has insurance executives and other startup folks in general. So that's InsureMe in a nutshell. If you're interested in licensing this solution for your carrier or interested in investing in the future of customer engagement software, come talk to me after this. Thanks.
you, thank you. Our next startup is our next presenter is an Indian American leading a Swiss company out of Hartford, Connecticut. Please welcome Luminant.
Good morning. My name is Renu and Joseph. I'm the founder and CEO of Luminant Analytics. We offer analytical insights and predictive models for insurance companies solely based on external data. Today, there is a misalignment in the way that risks evolve and insurance analytics. As we saw today, we have lots of new products, fast-moving environment, but analytics is still static and backward-looking. This gap is evident across the board, and the impact is on both top and bottom lines. We help insurers bridge this gap by offering quantitative predictions of key external trend changes on an insurer's book, moving away pricing from where it stands now. Why are we uniquely positioned to do this? We believe that for a comprehensive assessment of an insured risk, we need to deploy a multidisciplinary, dynamic, forward-looking approach to the evolution of risk. Our first use case is auto. This is a very large industry that has been in distress for quite some time. Some of the reasons for this was evident in the external data. The industry did not bother to look, especially the rise in road fatalities. This is exactly what Luminant Driven does. The data dashboard offers an in-depth view of the evolution of those external trends that lead to unanticipated losses that the industry missed. Our predictive models capture and project these external changes that can impact significantly insurance pricing. Actuaries can use this to benchmark and calibrate their internal models to better accommodate the lags. What makes us stand apart from the competition is the focus on the data analytics execution in identifying, sourcing, aggregating, curating, and modeling this data. We make sure that we speak directly to the underwriters and the actuaries. Driven is deployed as SaaS, and pricing is linked to loss ratio improvements or other growth metrics. We are at heart an analytics company, and we are already moving beyond auto into the live space, focusing on identifying producer fraud in life insurance or integrating dynamic wearable device data into insurance pricing. Our core team has over half a century of strong analytics experience spanning multiple disciplines: economics, econometrics, financial modeling and forecasting, public health policy, actuarial science. We also have a strong regulatory play because we have a former commissioner of the state of Connecticut on our advisory board. Summarizing, we help insurers make smarter use of external data analytics by making sure that they don't get caught out on unforeseen and changing trends. To know more, please talk to me on Umbrella or stop by at the booth. Thank you very much.
Our next presenters, 3 young daughters helped him pick his corporate colors of pink. Please welcome Portable.
Okay. Good morning, thank you. People have been asking where have I left my hot pink t-shirt. I went to order some fresh ones, they only had medium. I thought no one needs to be seeing me wearing a pink crop top up on stage. So we are Portable. We all now live and work in a freelance economy. And what does that mean? Well, welcome to the world of the free. The future of work, that's happening now. 50%, right? So 50% of this room, as a number, already live and work as part of the freelance and gig economy. And who are these people? Well, it's everyone, and it's happening now, from millennials to baby boomers and everyone in between. And let me share with you an insider's secret. Although some of you have heard this big secret before. The gig is big. $1.3 trillion according to our friends at McKinsey. Total addressable market. This is a global market phenomenon, fundamental shift in the way people work and the way people need to be insured. Because the 50% who now, by choice, choose to live and work this way are chronically underinsured. And for them, the risk is even bigger. because a staggering 74% of them are either uninsured or chronically underinsured and facing huge financial risk every single day. I'm Mike Burnett, founder and CEO of Portable. We are providing portable insurance, benefits, and savings products into this new freelance and gig economy. So this is the problem. When you're a full-time employee, you get everything provided for you, whether you appreciate it or not. When you go out on your own, you've got absolutely nothing, and you have to start putting some things back into place, almost one brick at a time. Some do, most don't. This is where Portable steps in. Our rich data engine enables us to present to you a customized bundle of products and services that are tailored to you, the nature of work that you do, and the stage of life that you're at. You're then able to subscribe to that bundle simply on a monthly subscription basis that you can easily pause at any time. From that point on, you only have the relationship with us. We take care of all the rest. You then become a member of the Portable community, which means you get to enjoy the group buying powers and discounts we've been able to negotiate on your behalf. We also incentivize you for good behaviors, introducing other like-minded freelancers into our network. You can then rest assured knowing that Portable is your trusted business partner, having saved you time, money, and stress, and is always in your pocket for whenever you might need us. Portable is a platform play powered by our Frisk score, coined the universal credit score for the freelance and gig economy. Best of all, Portable has been built by freelancers for freelancers. We've all personally lived and worked this way for years. We understand the real pain points. We know how to make things better. Time's up. Back to that one. We are raising now. We're interested in working with partners on POC opportunities. And if you have interesting products or services you think might appeal to the freelance and gig economy, please come and find me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please give our next startup a warm round of applause. Please welcome Rain.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ernest Yaron, and I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you about Rain. It's kind of funny. My background is actually in space robotics, and when I was doing my PhD work in machine learning and AI, I never would have thought that I'd be standing up talking about my work in front of an insurance group. But such is the nature of the industry that here I am. So what is Rain? To give you a couple of quick stats, we're headquartered in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We have about 50 staff around North America and Europe. We've raised to date about $12 million, and we are MGA licensed in all 50 states. But what is Rain? So we like to think of ourselves as integrated insurance at scale. That means we touch on product management, claims management, distribution, which is a key part of it through ecosystems, and wrapping it all up in data-driven analysis. So we are a configurable insurtech platform. So when I say platform, what do I mean? Essentially what we've done is we've taken all of the various individual components that go into an insurance life cycle. We've isolated them, we've digitized them so they can be scaled, and they can be used a la carte depending on what the insurance program that you're trying to put together is. We then wrap those around data analytics, as I mentioned before, so we can use data-driven analyses to actually shape the business, and we customize the product business rules and the user interface. That user interface can either be going through an existing an ecosystem, like a driver app or something like that, or can actually integrate with a carrier's existing back-end and infrastructure. So to talk a little bit about some of our key initiatives that we're working on, here are a few of them. Through all of these, we do a lot of loss prevention programs. We do risk rating and pricing and shaping, exposure modeling, simulation. It's important to note when I say simulation, I'm not just talking about claims events or disaster simulation. We're actually talking about simulating and modeling new industries, new opportunities, and new markets. And then we do the integration with the ecosystems and whatever integration systems we need to work for. So to give you a concrete example, in a logistics case, we take telematics data, connected vehicles, CRADA data, third-party data from wherever we get it. We run it through all those individual components that are used for the program that we're doing in our own platform, and that lets us affect the customer journey. We can work on program eligibility, real-time pricing, renewals, notice of loss, and claims management. And then and additionally, we can connect to, as I said, ecosystems or other infrastructure that we need to do. So essentially, if you're looking to launch a new insurance program faster, or you're looking to digitize or streamline existing products, come and see me. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. So our next presenter was the captain of the first girls ice hockey team to ever play in Madison Square Garden. Please welcome Stratify.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Kornhauser, co-founder and CEO of Stratify with 2 Ys, because our AI tells you why. Yeah, you like that, don't you? So I have 12 years of experience working at JP Morgan, helping some of the bank's biggest clients deploy risk management strategies. I'm joined on our leadership team by decades of experience across engineering, AI, finance, and regulatory compliance. And Stratify helps you develop predictive models and optimize decisions throughout your organization. Our solutions help insurance companies reduce costs, increase efficiencies, and better manage risk. The technology at the core of our solutions was developed over the past 15 years by my co-founding team and has a wide range of potential applications. But today, we'll focus on our fraud detection and prevention solution for insurers. I don't need to tell everybody in this room that insurance fraud is a big problem, yet about 1/3 of insurance companies feel unprotected against this threat because they're equipped with the wrong tools to catch fraudsters. In an ideal world, you would get both transparency and understandability from your models, yet existing solutions force you to make a very tough trade-off. Expert systems are linear and monotonic, and we all know that the world doesn't work like that. Advanced AI-based solutions are accurate, but often complex and not easy to understand and expose you to significant additional risks. And while we support all of these approaches, our crown jewel is our smart artificial intelligence technology that allows you to bring rules together with machine learning, combining the benefits of AI with your IQ. The result is data scientists can build powerful predictive models that are then usable by teams across their organization because they're easy to understand and everybody can get the information that they need in a way that they can actually use it to make better business decisions, again, across the organization. So how does it work in fraud? We're able to combine all of the information you have available, both in your humans and in your data, to better predict fraud. From there, we have the reasons why behind each of those predictions, such that you can focus your energy and efforts on the right things in investigation, improving speed and efficiency. From there, you can seamlessly feed insights back into your model to improve model performance and catch the latest kind of fraud. The result? Significant improvement in fraud savings for our customers. Here was the performance of one of our customers' models before Stratify. After working with Stratify's technology, our customer achieved significantly higher returns without introducing more risk. We are as accurate as your most advanced machine learning-based systems, but no black boxes with Stratify. You know exactly why behind each prediction and decision. And here's a quick look at what our customers have to say about working with us. If you're interested in seeing what explainable AI can do to drive your business forward, please come talk to us about a pilot. And for all the investors in the room, we'll be kicking off our seed round in September. We'd love to chat with you about it. Come see us. Thank you so much, Plug and Play, for this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you. Our next startup is going to be Surround, so I hope you're not claustrophobic. Please welcome Surround.
Good morning. I'm Kate Terry, co-founder and COO of Surround. So I'm going to assume that everybody in this room has purchased an insurance policy before, right? Okay, so think back. Do you remember the first time you bought an insurance policy? And do you remember why? I see a few smiles. So when we ask people that question, we get answers like, I bought my first car, freedom. We bought our first home together. I wanted to protect my fiance's engagement ring. We also hear stories that would just break your heart. Life's negative lottery moments. Standing with our customers in those moments, alleviating a little bit of the human misery associated with them, it's what drew so many of us to the insurance industry. It's why what we do is fundamentally right and good. So those people who were sharing their coming-of-age stories with us, they're talking about moments of profound human connection. Connection to the people that they care about, connection to the greater human experience. But the insurance that comes with those moments is about things, cars and homes and autos and rings and everything else. Problem is, the economy has changed. The asset economy has given way to the access economy. And young professionals in particular are opting out of or delaying the purchase of all of those cars and condos and homes and rings and everything else. The sharing economy gives them enormous freedom, but they're still exposed to those life lottery moments, right? And if you think about it, they're exposed for a much longer period of time than any other generation in history as they build their lives in their homes. And insurance really wasn't built for them. We as an industry, we can do better in taking care of these people. We can be better. And that's the problem we're solving at Surround. We're building the on-ramp to insurance for young professionals. A starter pack of insurance that's designed for how they live and work and move in the modern economy. Our product is super simple yet complete. It costs $50 a month, flat priced, feels like a drop-down umbrella. A quote takes 3 minutes, and the product protects against all of the most common risks that modern consumers face. Then our customers can connect seamlessly to their favorite sharing economy apps. In exchange for their data, we give them benefits on the services that they use and love already. We're building the AAA for millennials. In addition, our platform grows with our consumers. Using AI based on second and third-party data, we propose beautifully designed products at exactly the right moments as their life changes. Our customers never need to shop for insurance again. We are barreling towards launch later this year in Massachusetts, our home state, and we'll be expanding rapidly to 10 states beyond that in the 12 months following. We're signing up distribution partners right now. If anybody's interested, we'd be delighted to talk to you. And like every startup, we are always fundraising. We'd love to speak with you in person if you're interested while we're here. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Last startup for the break. Our next presenter has apparently a unstoppable fadeaway jump shot. I heard the Golden State Warriors might be having an opening soon. Please welcome Taloflow.
Yeah, they need me. Hi, I'm Louis Victor, the CEO of Taloflow, and what I'm going to speak to you about today is an interesting thing that happens when you are on your cloud journey. It starts to get expensive. And what's important to know is that as your scale increases on the cloud, the importance of real-time tracking information for your cloud bill is even more important. And that's important for teams that are just moving to the cloud, doing a lift and shift, and also important for teams that are cloud native, emphasize developer autonomy, and have some kind of CI/CD pipeline in place. This is what usually happens when you're making build decisions. You make a change in your infrastructure, you try to figure out what the impact on cloud spend is, very much a black box. You wait days or weeks to figure out what the impact is. You get bill shock, you try to fix it, it's reactive, and you're back in that loop again trying to see how the patterns of behavior on your infrastructure will actually impact your cloud bill. And so that's not very practical because your infrastructure is real time, your billing information, your spend information should be real time as well. And so tons of development teams and data science teams nowadays deal with issues like pin clusters, bad deployments, too many messages going through a service, GPUs left online when they shouldn't be. Those types of things start to rack up your cloud bill, and that's a big reason why today more than 40% of your cloud bill goes to waste. This is a problem with current tools today. They're all based on historical information. They're not predictive or real time. And so this is a Taloflow difference with Tim, is that we actually catch and stop the bleeding before it has significant impact on your cloud bill, and even predict when it's about to happen based on state changes in your infrastructure. And so this means that all of a sudden you can mitigate these real-time spend anomalies, analyze trends and make better decisions on your planning side, have roll-up in terms of understanding how one type of cost will impact other types of costs in your cloud infrastructure, and also incorporate billing in your technical design process. All of a sudden, your real-time changes and decisions will show you an immediate impact and feedback on your cloud bill, and you can fix reverse changes or proactively do things for proactive savings. We drastically help you improve your response time, and on top of that, we're built seamlessly into your workflow. Let me show you what that looks like. You get an anomaly detected, or you get a trend detected, boiling the frog type event. Here's something you should look at right away before it starts to impact your cloud bill in a negative way. And here's where to look. Figure out exactly how to break down the costs, what are some recommendations you can put in place right now, and where in the team you should actually apply those changes and recommend it to which team member. Finally, we actually integrate directly with your development pipeline so we can point out how a change in your infrastructure directly impacted your cloud costs. So no more are you wondering which deployment caused this spend anomaly. You will know exactly when, how, and when to reduce the impact. Integration is pretty seamless. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to integrate. We aren't invasive. There's ways we do this that don't really put any security risk to your infrastructure. And we're in beta right now and having a ton of success helping Fortune 500 companies and unicorn-type companies save a bunch of money on their cloud bill and avoid bill shock. Thank you.
All right, sorry, we have one more startup before we go out to break. So please welcome Aurora for ClaimSpace.
Hi everyone, my name is Aurora Voss and I'm the CEO and co-founder of ClaimSpace. So underwriters in the room, please don't judge me, but in my 30 years I've been involved in a ton of claims. But two really stand out. The first was 20 years ago when my family lost our home in a flood. The second was only about 6 weeks ago when I had to help my 85-year-old father make a living benefits claim. Now 20 years has gone by between those two events. And so much technology has been adopted by the industry. In the 2000s, everyone got Guidewired, Fineost, and eBixed. And now big data and AI mean that we're selling new things to new people in a fraction of the time. The problem is, though, that in these 20 years I've grown up, but the claims experience hasn't. We're still claiming like it's the 90s. And the two experiences that I've had, amongst many others, are full of phone tag, paper forms, and email trail as the #1 means of communication. And you know what? In all the claims I've experienced, I've simply been left in the dark. And these feelings, when customers have them, this is what leads to mistrust. And you know what? 94% of customers, they're telling us they prioritize process transparency. A lack of this remains the #1 barrier to a successful claims outcome. Add to this the escalating costs of claims management inefficiencies. Not only is it expensive for your customers to make yes or no phone calls to your claims business units, but once an attorney is involved, carriers can see an added 40% to the direct cost of a claim. This is what ClaimSpace is here to help solve. We're a SaaS, omni-channel, web-based platform that sits as a communication and collaboration layer on top of whatever existing system you have. We can plug into policy admin or claims management systems. Now, with ClaimSpace, we help insurers to create personalised workspaces for everyone involved in a claim. So whether you're a broker, agent, claims handler, or claimant, or a beneficiary, you get access to your own personalised workspace. Here you can track your claim in real time, be set tasks to help complete it. You can upload any kind of media, documents, video, or photo. You can directly message your claims handler and book in a time to be called back, while controlling personalised preferences like the language in which you experience a claim. Furthermore, we help insurers to automate the right parts of the claim. We collect and centralise all of the claim data, and we track user behaviour analytics to get your customer-facing staff closer to your customers. And finally, we help you stay compliant. So if there is a regulatory change, a service level agreement update, or maybe you've just, shocker, found a better way to do something, your team can make real-time updates to your claims processes without outsourcing it back to us or any added cost. Now, we have customers across the globe in Europe, Australia, and South Africa, across P&C and life. So this is a scalable solution across your product lines. And we're now in the US looking for innovative carriers to partner with. Now, we've seen great results in the pilot so far, up to 40% drop in inbound calls and up to a 25% drop in settlement, time to settlement. We have a great team of industry experts from claim managers and software developers at enterprise scale. And we really look forward to partnering with innovative carriers to find out how we can help you and your customers. One thing I just want to leave you with is that it's not just millennials who are looking for a digital experience. My 85-year-old father, he said to me, "Now I've spent 20 years learning how to use a mobile phone. Why won't my insurer let me do it for my claim?" Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to a 10-minute break. Please don't forget to do any voting on the back of your card here. Please vote for startups that you feel are appropriate to be voted for, as well as make sure that you sign up with Brella for any startups that you want to potentially meet. We're going to go to break, so we'll see you back here in 10. Thank you. Welcome you back to your seats, and we'll get started on this last leg, all right? Thank you.
So I think the greater degree to which Plug and Play can help insurtechs understand the connections they need to make with regulators early, that's great for those insurtechs, but it's also great for the space overall. And one of the things that's difficult is that most investors are generalists. They don't know anything about insurance, and the fact that it's a $1.2 trillion industry is fascinating. The fact that it's regulated is terrifying. We've actually been able to lean on an investment team here at Plug and Play to serve as references for us to other investors, which has really helped those investors feel good about the market. And that's something that is just incomparably valuable. We really appreciate the support.
Today was my first real exposure to the organization. I think I'd heard of them before, but it's a whole different thing to be in the same room with them and hear them discussing their biggest pain points and really what they're trying to achieve and their current priorities. I've learned a lot more as of today. So I think it's interesting to then introduce people who have access to volume, who have real needs, to small companies that can help accelerate solutions. It just makes sense.
This is the second year that I've been involved in this program with Plug and Play. The objective of the program has been to essentially build that relationship between insurance regulators and insurtechs that are looking to get into the field of insurance. The industry is on the cusp of a major transformation, and the insurance regulators want to stay abreast of all of these developments.
You know, it's interesting. Insurance and those in our ecosystem seem to think that somehow we're not as good as banking, we're not as good as other ecosystems or other industries. But we are uniquely positioned in insurance, and we really need to say we're in a great place. And if something took 5 years to happen in the banking world, it's going to take 2.5 in our world. Wherever we go in the next 5 years, let's just know that we're going to go there very, very efficiently. We should be ready to get proud of ourselves.
One of the priorities of the NEIC over the last couple of years has been to work harder to help our members, the insurance regulators, get a better understanding of really what's going on. And Plug and Play, of course, is at the forefront of that.
It's a great group of people who we've had the chance to learn from and hopefully contribute to a little bit as well.
All right. Thank you. If you guys could please find your seats, we're going to get started. Don't forget that while these last startups are going to be presenting, that you still have access to voting. So while they are presenting, you still have access to your votes, okay? So please don't forget that. That being said, we're going to get started on our first startup. Juliet was an acrobat in the circus. That leaves me with more questions than answers. Please welcome FloodMap.
This is my friend Cheryl. In 2011, Cheryl lost everything that she owned when her home was engulfed by catastrophic flooding. Cheryl had no idea that her home was at risk. She didn't have flood insurance, and she didn't have enough warning time or information to prevent the loss. Cases like Cheryl's are meaning that flooding is now becoming the costliest natural disaster, and it's getting more frequent and more severe every year, with losses projected to reach $50 billion annually in the US alone. And many of these are preventable. Take Hurricane Harvey. These are the 1 million flooded vehicles that cost insurers $4 billion in auto claims alone. I'm Juliet Murphy, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of FloodMap. I'm also a professional flood engineer with 10 years of experience in flood modeling and hydrology, joined by my co-founder and CTO, Ryan Prosser, who's a full-stack developer with over 7 years of experience in project delivery. And we're supported by our team of flood modelers, software engineers, machine learning experts, and spatial analysts. At FloodMap, we offer 2 solutions for insurers: our predictive mapping products aimed at loss prevention, and our flood mapping solutions aimed at underwriting. Let me show you how the predictive mapping works. We read in real-time weather forecasts, rainfall, and river height data. And we put that into our predictive models to produce a map of where the affected areas will be, helping insurers understand their portfolio exposure, predicting claims, and reaching out to their policyholders to prevent the loss. It also helps them expedite the claims process, validating claims with location-specific insights. On the underwriting side, we offer flood hazard solutions with property-specific data and flood risk scores for different scenarios. We recently partnered with State Farm to run a POC. We validated that not only did our models meet the accuracy of industry standard models, but we were able to simulate different levels of aerial imagery to show that our models could reach between 66 times and 200 times the resolution of other models offered by different catastrophe modeling firms. And we showed that our models ran orders of magnitude faster, making them much more suitable for real-time applications and rapid updating of models for underwriting. In other pilots, we've shown that our models reached 96% accuracy when compared to historical flooding. Right now, there's over a $12 billion gap in flood insurance coverage, representing a huge opportunity. If you're looking to close this gap and prevent flood losses, come and book a demo today. We'll be upstairs, and book something in Umbrella. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. All right, moving on to our next startup. Please welcome to the stage Mitchell from In the Car. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, I'm Mitchell May from In the Car. We're presenting a solution for insurance companies. Our premise is that no one likes buying auto insurance. It's a hassle, it's time-consuming, and we have a shocking different proposition. It's to work with the current auto manufacturers and the insurance community. The auto manufacturers use part of their incentive budget to subsidize or pay for the cost of insurance on bulk fleets of vehicles, be that a make or a model, and use that in select territories or nationwide. It's a more cost-effective model of distribution for auto insurance, and we use the latest technology that allows the dealership to basically have an API that goes directly into the insurance company's system. That system then pushes a text to an app. That app then, you download it, answer yes that you want the insurance. The insurance is placed onto the app via insurance card and policy. It's expensive for customers. This allows customers to get bulk buying through their OEM. The auto ecosystem loses about 20% of the people who come in to sign a binder on a car due to the fact that after they sign the binder, they realize that the cost of insurance makes it prohibitive for them to go ahead and purchase that car. Carriers find it expensive to advertise and put insurance on the books one-on-one. And from an insurance regulatory standpoint, which we gathered from the last time we were here at the NAIC, there is a large uninsured motorist problem that this would solve initially with insurance being placed in the vehicle when the vehicle is purchased at the point of sale. We act as a program administrator. We are agnostic to the insurance company or the OEM. We merely facilitate the program with proprietary technology we have. And it is, fully compliant and hassle-free. It allows the insurance companies to continue with touch points with the customer, as well as with the OEM to continue with touch points with the customer. During that year or 2 years that the insurance is subsidized, telematics is placing information into the insurance company that will allow accurate pricing of that vehicle after the time that that vehicle is, that data is analyzed. There are too many uninsured motorists on the road. This helps to solve for that problem. We have successfully piloted this program with VW, GM, and we are currently active with Hyundai Motor. And we are seeking partners, both insurance companies and OEMs, insurance companies with existing relationships, to go in and work with them and to deploy this model into the OEMs. Thank you.
All right. Please welcome our next speaker, one of the producers of Burning Man Israel. Please welcome Imdigo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel, and I'm from Imdigo. Imdigo, medical doctor on the go. An Israeli startup that is aiming to bridge between the insurance industry, the automotive industry, and the healthcare industry. Today, we are already partnering with OEMs, and they are invested in us as we solve one of their major problems, and this is lack of real-time data in accidents. We actually can save their end customers' lives. Since then, we moved into the insurance space. So imagine a world that real-time data actually exists, both for car damages and for body injuries. And insurance companies, instead of depending on others, they can own their process, reduce the claims, reduce the frauds, and can actually shorten and optimize the claim process. So this is actually possible with Imdigo's solution, which is a real-time data report for body injuries and car damage, 7 seconds after an accident. So how do we do this? So first step, we measure the forces applied on a vehicle using AI and signal processing tools. Then we translate those forces into a medical and car damage report using biomechanical tools, and then we send this report to the insurer. So let's look at our approach. To understand a car accident, you should look at both on car damage and body injuries. Take a look at this crash test scenario. The left red vehicle, in a crash test we've conducted several weeks ago, it's actually suffering from a mild accident. But if we will look and deep dive into it, and you will see the left seat passenger here, you will see he actually suffers from severe neck injury. Unfortunately, the forces applied on the vehicle and the force applied on the body and the crash damage here are very different, and there is no naive correlation between them. What we succeeded in doing in Imdigo is reconstructing the pulse and telling, just based on the crash, on the car sensor, what would happen to the body injury. This actually enables us to become a one-stop for the insurer, showing the body and the injuries. That's how a report looks like, showing the different regions that got injured, showing the cost estimation, and the same we can do for the car damage, showing external and internal parts with the cost estimation. We've conducted seven tests with car manufacturers and insurance companies. We have 250,000 cars connected in our system, which helps us to do medical prediction day by day, and we achieved above 80% of accuracy. Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to work with you.
All right, moving on. The next presenter was the captain of his high school cricket team. Please welcome Coffee Labs.
Thank you. I'm going to speak to you for a few minutes this morning about, you knew it was coming, commercial auto insurance. There was a time about 30 years ago when trucks on the road were relatively undifferentiated bits of steel and metal. With the advent of advanced safety systems, such as anti-lock braking, we saw a massive reduction in the severity and frequency of events. This means that unquestionably the future of trucking lies in technology. This coupled with the fact that we have upwards of a driver shortage of 100,000 drivers per year over the next 10 years, and humans responsible for 9% of crashes, means that additional safety systems on commercial vehicles help with economic expediency, because everybody wants their prime tomorrow, and does a much better job at addressing these issues. Unfortunately, when we talk about technology and we reference our friends in the commercial automotive industry today, we find that you're faced with a rather cumbersome submission process. It takes somewhere between 30 and 60 days to get a policy quote and bound. Pricing isn't really knowable until it's quote and bound. Limited markets, nobody wants this business. It's known as the Satan's pit of insurance. You have a combined ratio at 113 and growing, which is on par with today's temperature outside. And you have rates increasing every quarter for the past 9 or so years. What we're doing is develop AI-driven models that incorporate real-time relevant data on the vehicle itself to allow us to price in real time every vehicle on the road today. We've amassed a database of 14 million trucks, 3 million claims, 60,000 claims, and 100 million federal inspections and growing. That allows us to incorporate the most relevant elements of risk and exposure on the road today. The way we think about this is bringing the world of alternative data to commercial vehicles, because we know increasingly what's relevant today is software. Software upgrades can unlock all kinds of power, performance, and ameliorations to vehicle systems. We do this through vehicle-centric models. Give us a VIN in a real-time basis. We'll spit back to you a quote, which can be bound instantly. Fundamentally, at a very high level, what it allows us to do is align the incentives from the insurance company, in our case, the MGA, which is coffee, to the insured, the fleets, the OEMs, in the tier one. So if you have an opportunity to purchase safety systems that are going to increase the financial cost of maybe buying a vehicle, but based on total cost of ownership, you face lower price, that's very much in the interest of everybody, because we're aligning these incentives all the way down the line. I'd love to chat. If you're interested, we're around all afternoon. Upstairs in the umbrella. Thank you for your time.
Great. Up next is a guy who hasn't owned a car in 13 years. Please welcome Pablo.
Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Sherlock, and let me start with telling you what we don't do. So we don't do always-on insurance, and we don't insure cars. What we do is sometimes on insurance. In other words, on-demand insurance or pay-as-you-go. And we insure just the driver. Why? Because as more and more people are not owning cars, they are still driving cars, and there are multiple mobility models with different risks. So the problem is that on-demand, when it comes to on-demand and rentals, insurers are playing catch-up. And there are serious risks that need our attention now. We can't wait till 2030 until fully autonomous vehicles come. These risks are here now. Case in point, this poor fellow, he booked a Turo car, and he declined the insurance because it was $43. Now, I think that's a rip-off. And unfortunately, he had an accident where he injured 3 people badly, and I'm saying hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills, but all he had was the California state minimum of $30,000. Now, excuse my French, but how the fuck could we let that happen? So we have a 2-part solution. On-demand damage, liability, and roadside assistance. So it's comprehensive and affordable. And we cover peer-to-peer share rentals and subscription models. The second solution is drive any car. So say, for example, you go out to dinner with a friend, and it wouldn't happen, right? But if you had 1 or 2 too many drinks, your friend can simply swipe right on the app and drive your car home safely. Insurers can build the application on their platform or use our white labels to help fill gaps within their coverage, within their customer base, or within their membership base. We are an insurance agency licensed in 50 states here in the US. Last year, there was 150 million reservations in the car rental and the share space. So even just 5% of that is a pretty good start. So I haven't owned a car for 13 years. I've founded Australia's leading rental comparison website and its leading car rental insurance website. So my brain's in that space, and it's also part of my lifestyle. And took care as a gun API developer. So API is at the center of what we do. These 4 insurance companies connect to our API right now. These are the products that we have in the market. This is what's coming. And think of the distribution as very broad. Tens of thousands of insurance agencies able to fill the gaps in coverage for their customers. We've bootstrapped to this point, but we'll more than double our revenue this year. We're doing a seed round in the fall, so stay tuned. So we're Pablo. We insure drivers. And if you'd like to find out more, contact me on Twitter or through Bella. Thanks for your attention.
All right, our next startup our next startup's name looks like it was pulled right out of a comic book. Please welcome Voom.
Specialized mobility. Drones, small planes, boats, ATVs, even the e-scooters are now popping up on our streets. Look at how amazing these experiences look like. Insurance, however, for this same stuff is completely different. I'm not really talking about this old-fashioned look and feel or 90s websites. The problem is actually way, way deeper. The premium is determined regardless of the actual utilization or risk profile in many cases. In other cases, in new risks such as e-scooters, the risk is so new that no one really knows how to quantify it properly. So users are just left behind without any proper coverage. I'm Tomer Kashi, co-founder and CEO of Voom Insurance. We provide on-demand telematics-based insurance solutions that are personalized to the exact risk profile of the customers. The first product we've created is Skywatch. It's an on-demand telematics-based insurance solution for drones. It's an admitted product. It was launched around a year ago, and I'm proud to say that we're already serving thousands of customers with it and growing very nicely month over month. But this is only one case study. What's important to stress is the technology that we have created behind the scenes. We start with a telematics-based risk analytics platform. We take the telemetry data from each and every vehicle, contextual data, and create a risk score for each and every usage. We have our own born-in-the-cloud policy management system that allows us for flexibility that no other legacy system can provide. And we have our own distribution technology. Voom is an omni-channel platform. We have a mobile app, web platform, and APIs. So it's clearly an end-to-end solution. Now, as you can see, what we can now do with this platform is to create new products around specialized mobility. And very soon, we're going to provide insurance for everything you can ride, fly, or sail. A little bit about the team itself. We're a VC-backed insurtech. We act both as an MGA. We're licensed in all 50 states as a PNC producer and as a tech platform. And we employ a team with a very diverse array of expertise, from machine learning and actuarial science to product and growth hacking. The best practice is to finish with a very bold and clear call to action. So if you're an innovative carrier looking to co-create new products, diverse your revenue potential, create new revenue streams, and potentially become a category leader in these emerging markets, then come talk with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. All right, our next presenter was the elementary school geography champion. I would also put that on my resume. Please welcome Slingshot Aerospace.
Hey everyone, my name is Ross Chesnick, and I'm the Director of Commercial Strategy at Slingshot Aerospace. Slingshot is a venture-backed, advanced geospatial analytics company that develops situational awareness products for stakeholders in defense, disaster response, and insurance. We are co-founded by 2 Air Force officers who have a combined 30 years in space and intelligence, and our third co-founder is a big data architect and serial entrepreneur. To date, we've raised about $9 million, and we have just solidified a 2-year, $6 million agreement with the Air Force. Our lineage to defense is what brought us into the insurance vertical. During Hurricane Harvey, we provided disaster response and analytics to a customer of ours, BAE Systems, who was helping out a first responder nonprofit called Team Rubicon. To do this, we leverage remote sensing data from our partners, coupled with our analytics platform, to provide situational awareness products like flooded areas, damage severity, obstructed roads, and dry parking lots. This enabled us to help them understand where to stage their rescue operations and help those who needed it most. As we continued our work with Team Rubicon during Hurricane Florence and Michael, we were approached by various insurance carriers who wanted to replicate our workflow model for the insurance vertical, specifically for their CAT response and claims teams. So this marked the genesis of our insurance product, which is called Earth Portal, an intuitive geospatial solution that provides rapid post-CAT insights as well as property intelligence insights. Unlike other geospatial solutions, any individual, not just a GIS professional, can navigate our range of capabilities, which include built-in annotation and tasking tools to allow you to really collaborate across the enterprise. But most notably, Earth Portal provides users with rapid post-CAT insights 24 to 72 hours after an event hits. To do this, our data analytics platform rapidly ingests Earth observation imagery from our partners' satellites, UAV, and manned aerial assets. Then, we run our computer vision AI-fueled geospatial analytics across the pixels in this imagery. What this does, it enables us to look at things like debris, flooded areas, as well as identifying things like building structures. We then fuse this together with other remote sensing data, which allows us to identify damage severity for each policy in force. This can help carriers reduce operating losses by identifying things like where to most effectively triage their independent adjusters, how they can more efficiently estimate claims volume, and also helping them understand where best to put their resources. On the underwriting side, there we go, technology. On the underwriting side, we also have a change detection capability that we put into play. And what this does, it allows us to identify on a pixel basis any structural changes to a building for a current or prospective policyholder. We also enable our features to look at things like fuel loads and encroaching vegetation as an additional tool for risk. Currently, we're already working with several insurers, but we're always looking to pilot and partner with more. Feel free to come up to my table so I can give you a demo, and I'm happy to talk about use cases that align with your strategic goals. Thank you.
All right, our next startup is actually lucky to be here because he got stuck in a cave on a mountain once before. Please welcome TensorFlight.
Hi everyone, I'm Jacob from TensorFlight. They forget to mention that I didn't buy insurance. It was kind of expensive mountain trip. Okay, let's start. So today I have a pleasure to show you the future of property inspections in the insurance industry, the future that has already come. Yeah, insurers are losing almost $5 billion because they misclassify the construction type. On the other hand, underwriters, they spend 6 out of 7 days on gathering property data in the case of large commercial insurance. But when it comes to small and medium commercial properties, they even have no time and there is no budget to cover the cost of property inspections and loss control. Not even mentioning, like, apart from that, insurers are losing huge amount of money from natural disasters, over $200 billion in 2017 and 2018. At TensorFlight, we have decided to solve these problems, and we are automating the process of gathering data using AI on existing satellite and street view imagery. We have already automated extraction of information about footprint, square footage of the building, number of stories, construction type, roof pitch and geometry, so information about solar panels, overhanging trees, and trees around the property, distance from the pools, nearest pools, and we are automating extraction of facade elevation data, facade material, and condition, and also occupancy types. Why we are different from competition? So at TensorFlight, we have trained our artificial intelligence on images of commercial properties. So we're focusing on commercial properties. We are also we're extracting data from aerial, like top view imagery, satellite imagery, and street view imagery. And we provide global coverage. So you can get data from almost every developed country and also emerging markets such as South America and Asia. So with our software, you can improve your underwriting, reinsurance, risk modeling, and reduce the risk of entrance on the new markets. We have a very relevant experience because our co-founders, they worked for Google Street View, Google Maps, in Silicon Valley, in London, and we have a very strong team of experts in many fields, such as machine learning, software development, but also we have business people from insurance. We also have experts in the field of architectural, civil engineering, and building inspections. And we're very happy because in our seed round, we have just closed our seed round, and we have raised funds from very recognized brands such as Nefila Capital, Hudson Structures, from the insurance industry, basically. Thank you. I'm available on Umbrella app, so let's connect there and have a talk. Thank you very much. Thank you for the attention.
All right, our next presenter has run the Bay to Breakers race in San Francisco for the last 33 years. Please welcome the Detection Group.
Thank you. I should have worn my running shoes, I think. And as the penultimate company before lunch, I appreciate your continued attention, and thanks to Plug and Play for this great opportunity. The Detection Group offers cloud-based IoT sensing for commercial properties, and we address right now the #1 loss claim for buildings. And what is that? Water damage. Water damage, as you know, is a big problem. It's a $10 billion problem in the US alone, and every building has leaks. And that's actually a real building there, that's not a Photoshop. Our solution is we provide a enterprise platform addressing leaks first and going on to other sensors as well. We call this the smoke detector for water. We're not a startup. We have over 400 buildings installed with our system, and we're protecting and catching leaks every day. How our system works is pretty simple, and please, this is not like your mother's home-based leak detection system. We put a wireless RF platform in buildings that can handle thousands of sensors. We have right now 2 endpoints, a contact water sensor and a valve controller that controls the smart valve, so we can sense and notify, or sense, notify, and shut off the water. The market's huge. It's a $24 billion market, and we have a SaaS model that addresses the market. I am very proud of our list of stellar customers, which include property owners such as Kilroy Realty and the Irvine Company, property managers such as CBRE, JLL, and Cushman & Wakefield, and corporate owners such as Salesforce, Box, and Stripe. These are some of the buildings that we have protected. We started on the West Coast, and now we're moving east to Chicago, Illinois, and most recently, Houston, Texas. The building on the upper left, we protect IBM Watson on the West Coast. I'm very proud to say that we're in Salesforce Tower as one of 2 IoT technologies in that important smart building. We have around 500 sensors and 200 valves, smart valves in that building. And we've already caught leaks, so the point there is even new buildings have this problem. There's a lot of interest from insurance carriers. Why? Because our 2 largest CRE customers have less than a 10% P&C loss ratio. We have signed 3 agreements, and we're looking to sign more. So we're scaling the business. What do we need? Well, first of all, we're profitable. Yay. And very happy about that. So we're doing a land and expand strategy. So we're looking for corporate partners, insurance partners, and of course, growth capital. And a final thought, we call this the smoke detector for water. Smoke detectors market is $2.5 billion in 2022. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So, last startup, but certainly not least, please welcome to the stage True Flood Risk.
Thank you. Thank you. The severity and frequency of flooding is increasing, not only from those major storms such as hurricanes that are known by name, but also on a local level from heavy rains, flash floods. Hello, my name is Shelley Cloza. I am founder and CEO of True Flood Risk. We provide property data related to flood risk. We use machine learning and AI and overlay it with licensed imagery from Street View imagery from 12 different sources to extract, calculate, and collect information regarding roof pitch, structure type, number of floors, presence of a basement, and our flagship solution is first floor elevation. And first floor elevation, it's also commonly referred to as FFE, and in some audiences as first floor height. And it's the distance between the ground and the start of the first floor of a property. It's considered an important attribute to assess property-specific flood risk. Simply put, the higher the first floor elevation, the lower the flood risk, and the lower the flood insurance premium should be. Historically, flood insurance premiums have been based on either community level risk or possibly from assumptions. Today, accurate, affordable, and instant property data is available through True Flood Risk. Our data is being used to help underwriters price policies accordingly, to help expedite the quoting process. Simply put, instead of taking 2 days to get information to potential customers on flood premiums, the information can be immediate and help bind policies faster. And on the back end, we help with claims. We can look at actual claims and compare it to first floor elevation. We started off as a free consumer-facing tool to help educate and inform and encourage consumers, potential homeowners, to learn more about flood insurance. And based on that success, we received interest from insurers for our property data. It can be accessed via API. This is ideal for quoting. You select the property features that you want. We have an 82% coverage. That means of any address in the world, we're able to complete 82 of our lookups to date. We also include a confidence level, and this is extremely important because we want to know, everyone to know how accurate our technology is. Our current margin of error is plus or minus 3 inches, or 10 centimeters for our international audience. We also have customized dashboards where you can overlay your information. We could also add additional flood maps information as well, per capita information of communities. And then the third part is just looking at an entire community. So rather than property specific, you get all available property features for properties in specific zip codes or even on a state level. There's competitors in this space, but we're the only ones that utilize Street View imagery. This is important from a first floor elevation perspective because you need to have that ground to first floor measurement. It's a SaaS-based model, very nominal. It's cheaper than the cost of putting money in the meter on the street for parking. And we have a great team, including climate scientists. We're here today looking for more strategic partners to grow and integrate into your if you're interested in property data, if you're interested in the flood market, I'd love to talk to you afterwards. And thank you for your time.
All right, excellent. So that's all of our startups. We are going to begin a small voting session, please. If you don't know how to vote, I'm going to do a little quick explanation for you now. This middle thing on the back of your brochure has a link on it. You can either click on that or use your iPhone's camera to take a picture of this QR code down here in the bottom left. From there, there's a Vote Here button, and then you can click that and then click on your favorite startup. So we're going to have a small 2-3 minute voting session. From there, we're going to go straight into corporate awards and startup awards. Thank you.
プラグ&プレイの特徴でもある海外の企業さんがやはり多くいらっしゃるので、海外の企業さんと一緒に今案件を結構進められているっていうのがあって、それがやはり面白いと思いました。
スタートアップの皆さんと深い付き合いができるようになってきたなっていうのと、バッチゼロのスタートアップと何かやってみようとか、そういうのも生まれてきているので、少しずつ前に進んできたかなっていう思いがあります。
We have been through the Sunnyvale batch. We have seen the expo there. I think this is at least 3 times bigger than the Sunnyvale. kudos to you guys. We were able to bring in so many influential partners. And through you guys, we have already started the conversation with some customers and partners, and even some of the investors.
実際我々はですね、フィンテックのバーティカルに含まれていない会社さんともお話しさせていただく機会もあってですね、そういった意味でこうかなり広くフィンテックというくくりではなくても我々のビジネスに関係がポテンシャルにある会社さんとしっかりこうビジネスの話ができてよかったかなと思っております。
In the fintech vertical, but we've had a chance to meet insurtech companies, IoT companies, mobility, and we have a number of initiatives that we're moving ahead. So far, so good.
チーム一丸で今回このプログラムを最優先で置いてきたので、実は今日の朝までみんな寝れない状況でこう資料を作ったりとかしてたんですけれども、本当にそれが実って、チームの一員も少しは報われたかなと思って、それは本当に良かったと思います。
さっきまでプレゼンしてたので、まだちょっと信じられないですね。なんかとにかくありがたいというのと本当かなっていうのがはい、という気持ちです。
会社として、かなり力を入れてやりましたので、その成果を出すことができたという形では非常に嬉しく思っています。具体的なものも出てきたという形なので、気を緩めず頑張っていこうと思っています。
バッジを追うごとにですね、集まっていただくスタートアップの方々もレベルがどんどん上がってるなというのを感じまして、こちらも負けてらんないなと頑張りました。
貴重なこういった場でまずピッチさせていただいて、自社サービスをプレゼンさせていただくだけでもかなり光栄なんですが、こういった賞まで受賞いただいてバックアップしていただいたプラグ&プレイの皆様にもですし、クライアントのパートナー企業の皆様にも大変感謝しております。ありがとうございます。嬉しいです。
参加されるパートナー企業の方々がみんな本当にスタートアップとイノベーションを起こすっていうことに対してすごい真摯に取り組まれていて、そこの基本姿勢みたいなのが違うので、すごく有意義な話がさせていただけたなと、そういう気持ちです。
プラグ&プレイさんのサポートもあり、かつ一緒に我々とやっていきたいなと思っていただけるスタートアップさんがいたっていうことがとても大きな力になって、こういうふうな結果に結びついたと思ってます。
スタートアップの皆さんに評価していただいた賞ということで、何よりも嬉しく思います。スタートアップをサポートしていくというのをモットーに我々やってますので、この賞を励みに今後も頑張っていきたいと思ってます。
We cherish a lot the relationship that we can develop with startups. We are a large corporate. We know that we are sometimes hard, very demanding with the startups, but we try hard to be respectful, try to be also humble and agile in the way we interact with the startups.
日本の企業がそのロングリストの段階から増えてるなというのは非常に感じました。プラグ&プレイの日本におけるプレゼンスというのも高まってきているのかなと、今後ますます日本のスタートアップが出てくることを楽しみにしています。
3ヶ月で4社と具体的に話が進み始めているっていうところは普通だとなかなかできないなっていうのを思うので、濃厚でかつすごい有意義な期間をプログラムをありがとうございました。
もともと海外展開の土台を作るっていう目的で参加させていただいたので、僕が1行ったら10ぐらい返してくれるようなフォローアップがものすごく感動しました。
All right. Thank you, everyone, for voting. So I would like to welcome back, to hand out our awards, I would like to welcome back to the stage. Please welcome Saeed Amidi and Ali Safavi.
Thank you so much, Zach. It's great to be here, and everybody tells me I should not talk more about Mercedes or Stuttgart. But quite frankly, we do more than 100 pilots with Mercedes, 30 of which is going to full production. 10 is already inside the car. Like next time you sit in a Mercedes, the voice recognition and semantic search will be from Hound, and we feel it's going to be a much better experience. To translate that to InsurTech business, we really value companies that work with the startups, do pilots, invest in them. Quite frankly, we know it's not easy. We know it takes a culture of being accepting that technology can be brought in from outside. And I leave it up to Ali to give us a little background of our corporate award ceremony.
Yeah, thank you, Sajan. So we have been doing these corporate awards now, I think, for the 4th or 5th time that has been happening. It's a good way for us to reward or recognize some of the partners who've been doing some amazing work. And I know the innovation teams have to put a lot of work to get stuff done. So this specific partner has been with us from 2016. And this specific partner was probably one of the largest reasons, if not the biggest reason, that we launched like a specific life and health track for InsurTech back in beginning 2017. They recently announced that they have launched, in collaboration with us actually, an acceleration program to take startups to Tokyo, as well as their headquarters in US. And through that program, they managed, specifically just from that program, they managed to do 6 pilots, 2 of them are ongoing. And over the past 2 years, they've done 11 investments. It's a great pleasure to welcome them on stage Aflac. Woo! So Bharat Rajaram has been a close friend since 2016, and we had the pleasure of working with him. I let Saeed
please join us in the middle. Thank you so much. And quite frankly, we had a conversation about 3 years ago, and this has been a journey together because we didn't know what we are doing, and some other people didn't know what they are doing. No, I'm just joking. But it's been a great relationship. Absolutely. A few words from you.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. This is a great honor, accepting this on behalf of Aflac and Aflac Ventures. We're still in the journey of figuring out exactly what you want to do and how we want to take these startups and how we want to innovate. But in those 3 years, we launched a venture fund. We've expanded that fund. We've launched a seed fund. We've also launched a venture innovation labs program, as Ali just talked about. And we're now expanding the global nature of our innovation and venturing program. And one of the things that has been invaluable to us, I think, is the partnership with Plug and Play. And I would also point to this community here, this collaborative community of industry and innovation leaders. And we've benefited immensely from that. So again, thank you, Saeed, to you, and Ali, to your teams, Michael and others that have helped us in this journey, and to all of you here for supporting us and helping us work through our journey of innovation.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for the Startup Award. So, thank you for the vote. I guess the audience has spoken, and I guess the audience likes their Buddy. I'd like to welcome Buddy to stage.
Ooh.
Oh, Charles. Well, congrats.
Pleasure. Good to see you. Here we go.
Congratulations. You have to give a speech now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. This is quite outstanding. This is an amazing audience, and to see people from all over the world under one roof just kind of makes me warm and fuzzy inside. So thank you to Saeed and Ali, and that makes me warm and fuzzy outside. So anyway, thank you all, and let's have a great rest of the Summer Summit.
Thank you so much. Thank you
so much.
We get a picture?
Yeah, let's get a picture.
Again, great having you guys here. I think the lunch is going to be served. Please try to, please try to meet with the startups. That's why they are here, and really appreciate your being part of this platform. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you all for coming today. We don't like to see this as the end, but the beginning of your networking and things like that. If you're going to be coming to Enterprise at 1:30, please do not leave your stuff in this room. We are going to flip the room. So if you're going to be here for Enterprise, please take your stuff with you and then come back. Casino nights tonight at 4 p.m., so please be sure to come to that as well. And also, our anchor advisory session will be starting from 2:30. All right, thank you so much. Lunch is on the second floor, as well as our booth sessions. And And thank you. This concludes InsurTech. Thank you so much.